How's everybody doing out there? It is the Mike Missanelli Show. Thursday show, we're inching closer to playoff baseball, but in the meantime, we continue to lament the Philadelphia Eagles. But today, I thought we wouldn't lament. Now, there's no way not to lament because there are some really bad numbers that come through in these first few games, and there's some bad dynamics going on with the team. But Bill and Ray, who joined me today, we're going to discuss whether we are going too far, whether we are panicking too soon. It's only fair to look at the other side. There are a lot of people that listen to talk radio, and they hear the negativity that's coming out. And believe me, there's a lot of negativity. I mean, we're not making this up. But there's a lot of people that want to believe that this is just a temporary thing and that this team is good enough to get past it. And especially with the schedule they have coming up, that this team could very well be 6-2. And so to avoid all the people that say, you guys were too negative, we decided that we would look more at the positive. We would turn it back on ourselves today. Now, not as much Bill, because he's still going to find a way to compliment Sirianni, even
so much good.
In the worst of times. But we're going to turn it back on us, that maybe we're pushing a button that we shouldn't push too hard right now. And so I want to open it up to the people who believe that, to the people that want to believe more positive vibes are ahead with this Eagles team. You know, we've polluted the fan base, basically, over the last several days. Have we not, Bill?
Well, I think the Eagles may have polluted the fan base themselves with that performance against the Tampa Bay Bucs.
Well, we've helped push them into the deep waters, certainly.
Hey, just being objective, though, Mike. I mean, like, I think sometimes sports talk radio gets accused of being overly negative.
Uh-huh.
I really don't think we're being overly negative.
We're not being overly negative right now.
I think we're being objective.
I don't think we are either. But I know there's a lot of people who do think so. So this is why I always like to listen to the other side of it. You know, we're getting all kinds of hate calls for Sirianni, hate calls for Jalen Hurts. I bet you there's just as many people on the other side of it that are just afraid to voice their opinion for fear that they're going to get shouted down. And that's not what my aim would be today. I don't want to shout them down. I want to welcome them. I want to listen to them. I want to process it. And I want to allow for the fact that maybe we're doing things that I accuse everybody else of doing. Negadelphia.
The Negadelphia. Here we go again.
We've been Negadelphian all week. We have not brought up one positive statistic. Not one positive thing have we brought up, have we?
It's hard, though, Mike. Well, I mean, really, it's difficult. Look, I've tried to be positive a little bit about the offense. I said yesterday that I don't think outside of the game plan against the Bucs that the offense has been that bad. They do sit in the top 7 in terms of yards. I really think what's hurt this offense has been Jalen Hurts' turnovers. So can he clean that up? I mean, if we're looking for positivity, if he can eliminate the turnovers, and maybe that's too big of an if now because we've seen it for 21 games, but if he can eliminate the turnovers, this offense can be pretty good.
Here's what I want to do. I want to purge all the negative stuff. I want to get it out quickly, all right? Because there are some numbers we haven't yet to go over that would indicate it is really a bad situation. And let's start with Jalen Hurts. His average time before throws is 3.1 seconds. Now, what did Baker Mayfield do last week? 2.2.
Yeah, it was a good game plan.
His average time of 3.1 is 32nd among all quarterbacks. And in addition, he has 5 fumbles where he lost 3. And he has 4 interceptions over 4 games. I'm just trying to get this out now. I just want to get this out. Okay? The Eagles have had a stench, a 7-game stretch of games without a first quarter point. I was trying to get all this out because I want to get it out.
I want to talk about that one when you're done.
All right. The Eagles didn't trail by 17 or more points at halftime in any of the first 48 Nick Sirianni coach games where the starters played, and they've now trailed by 17 or more at halftime in 3 of the last 10 meaningful games that he's coached. Jalen Hurts is also only the 6th Eagle quarterback since 1960 to open a season with 4 consecutive games with a passer rating under 90. I'm trying to get all this out. I want to purge. I want to put it in a bonfire, and then we can talk to the people who believe that maybe we're going too far.
We got the incense out in here.
We do. We're burning the sage bush.
Yeah, we're burning the sage. We're going to make things right.
Exactly. And I'm serious about this. I don't want to turn this into a but. I want people to tell me what positive feelings they feel right now and why we may be going too far in burying this team.
Yeah, they are only 2-2. I mean, that is the crazy thing is there's a lot of people. I got a call yesterday from my uncle. They got to fire Nick Sirianni. They're 2-2. Vegas still has them clearly as the favorite to win the NFC East.
Oh, I'm not done yet.
Oh, we're still.
Yeah, Kellen Moore, when asked, and we heard it, we all heard it, when asked about Jalen Hurts falling short of hitting Barkley on the first play of the game when he ran a wheel route, and so then he went deep because he saw Hurts had escaped the pocket. Kellen Moore said this. Those are challenging situations. He uses the word challenging a lot. Those are challenging situations when you're rolling out. And obviously, there's a big play potential opportunity. But obviously, that's the second time he threw that in. From a QB's vision standpoint, obviously, again, we can see it from a wide camera angle and see that he's open, but kind of hard to see if you can identify where the safety's at as the throw goes. So it ended up out of bounds, unfortunately. Not the end of the world. Well, you're gosh damn right it's the end of the world. That could be a touchdown. That's the end of the world.
It's the first play of the game,
It's
too.
the end of the world, Kellen.
So
Not the end of the world.
I actually went and watched that on the all-22 from the end zone view. Hurts, I don't know what he's thinking on there. So, yes, he's rolling out to his right. But if you look at it from the end zone view, there's nobody in the middle of the field. Saquon is wide open, and Hurts really isn't under any, duress? That's the correct word?
Duress.
He's not really under any duress as he's rolling to his right. He's got plenty of time to set his feet. All he's got to do is keep that ball in bounds. It's a touchdown. It may be a completely different football game.
Yes, that's the end of the world, Kellen. But he also adds, obviously, we've got great opportunities to grow past that. I'm just trying to get this out of my system, folks. Indulge me, please. I want to get all this out because it has occurred to me that we are fanning the flames of negativity, and I really would like to open the floor to the people who think we are going too far. And I know there are people out there. You might be afraid to show yourself, but this is a safe place for you. This is your safe house today.
So what is this, a Therapy Thursday we're doing on the show?
It's whatever you want it to be. Now, if you want to continue adding logs to the fire, you can certainly do that if you're a member of our listening audience. But if you want to present the other side, I can assure you that we are not going to browbeat you. We will listen to you and say, okay, let's go to, yeah, okay.
Yeah, we'll listen.
So we'll do.
I want to continue to exercise the demons here, though.
You got something else?
Well, you talked about those lack of first quarter points. Mm-hmm. So 6 consecutive games without first quarter points. First time since 1955 the Eagles have done that.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to go back, and I went and looked at all 4 weeks so far. Mm-hmm. Week 1, first quarter, 2 Jalen Hurts turnovers. One was the interception. The other was the bad snap by Cam Jurgens that gets credited to Jalen Hurts. Week 2, they get all the way down to the Atlanta 9. 4th and 4, they go for it, so no more points. Week 3, Hurts interception in the first quarter. And then week 4 last week, the Saquon Barkley play that you just mentioned, a big sack that Jalen Hurts takes on a 3rd and 7, and they only had 6 plays. So the opportunities could be there. To me, what's the common theme? 2 Jalen Hurts turnovers in week 1. Jalen Hurts not converting on a 4th and 4 in week 2. Jalen Hurts turnover in week 3. Jalen Hurts missing Saquon Barkley in week 4. Jalen Hurts is the problem, Mike. Jalen Hurts could be the problem. Now, I'm not saying that he can't fix it. I'm not out on Jalen. But when I'm looking at this offense and I'm trying to identify the issues, it's not Nick. It's not Kellen.
Well, listen, if he's the issue, then they're really in trouble. because he's going to be here for a while. 610-632-0975. We will obviously talk some Phillies baseball as we await the winner of the Mets and the Brewers. And they may have knocked the Mets down a peg with that win last night, the Brew Crew. We'll talk about that coming up. Mike Missanelli Show right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. By Window Nation, take advantage of Window Nation's 50% off sale on all style windows, plus make no down payment with no payments and no interest for 12 full months. Call 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com. So we talked about in the first 10 minutes opening the door to the other side, that, all is not lost with this football season. Let's face it, they're 2-2. They got 4 bops coming up, really. They could be 6-2 after that. But people just are kind of dug in. Because so far on the line, we've got people that just want to go to the other side. They're just frustrated beyond belief at a team that's 2-2. And they've been watching the Eagles for a really long time. So I respect their opinion that they're not seeing anything positive. Even though I'm yearning for the other side of it.
You knew this was going to happen the moment that there was any sort of negativity or adversity this season. The way that last year went. The way it ended, and then the decision to bring Nick Sirianni back that I supported, you would have liked to have seen them move on. We knew that the moment adversity hit.
For this very reason, by the way. That's why I didn't want to see him back, for this very reason.
But I will say this.
I saw the larger picture. I saw the bigger canvas.
You did, but I will say this, and I said it this offseason. The only chance that Nick Sirianni had to win this fan base over again would be if this team hit adversity and he could show that I can guide this ship through choppy waters. I am, in fact, a coach that can handle adversity. We're going to learn now because adversity is at an all-time high. People are already calling for his head. It's 2-2. So how does this team respond? We're going to learn a lot, not only about Jalen Hurts, but about the head coach over the next few weeks.
What have we learned so far? What have we learned so far about his capacity as a CEO? Look at all the mistakes that have been made. They had a training camp. Well, nobody hits in training camp. I'm tired of hearing this excuse. Well, I didn't hit. They didn't play their players. Coaching is a lot different than playing a couple of series in a preseason game. Coaching is buttoning down things. They've got good coaching. They've got a good coaching staff. They got a CEO who is supposed to wrangle all that into one little tight little box.
You see, I think that we tend to, in this city, be too negative and put too much blame on coaching, and then we fail to look at some of the deficiencies with the personnel and the play on the field.
No, I'm talking about careless turnovers. I'm talking about holding on to a football. I'm talking about
but that's Jalen, isn't it?
I'm talking about penalties like 12 men on the field. I'm talking about penalties like linemen downfield before they're supposed to. I'm talking about those things. That team was not prepared for the season. They're suffering all kinds of those little blemishes that a CEO in a tight system would not permit.
Now, okay, I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
Of course you are.
Because you're saying they're not prepared for this season. Their first game of the year was on a Friday night in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. And the season starts with Jalen Hurts committing 2 turnovers in the first quarter, and yet somehow the CEO, Nick Sirianni, and the Philadelphia Eagles find a way to win that football game. So you're saying they're not ready.
Bill.
Come on.
Bill, they won that game by the skin of their keister.
Yeah.
Right? But let's look at now the games, the subsequent games. What are you seeing that would indicate that this head coach has control of this team?
Nick Sirianni should be held accountable. I've said this all week for the way the team came out against the Tampa Bay Bucs. I get that. But if I am ranking who I'm more concerned about in this whole situation, I have at a tie at number 1, Jalen Hurts' turnovers and the defensive personnel. Because I don't care what Nick Sirianni does, what Kellen Moore does, what Vic Fangio does. If Jalen Hurts won't stop turning the football over and the defensive personnel stinks like it did last year, it's not going to matter who your CEO head coach is. You could bring in Bill Belichick and it wouldn't matter.
Here's why it matters. Because the CEO is responsible for game planning and what his defensive coordinator wants to do, taking in consideration his lack of personnel. And the same goes on the offensive side of the ball. If you don't have certain personnel, then you got to coach your way past that. The CEO is responsible for having his coordinators who are subordinate to the CEO Coach it the right way.
You're not wrong. And I'm not, listen.
I didn't say you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong, but the quarterback stinks.
Sirianni should be accused of not doing a good enough job. I agree with that. Sirianni is not doing a good job.
That's the whole thing.
But
that's the whole thing. He's the head coach.
I get that. But I keep going back to this. I've said it all week. If you fired Nick Sirianni right now, is this team
I'm not firing
better?
him. You're taking it. You can't fire him. I understand that you can't fire him. I'm not asking them to fire him. I'm saying he's not doing his job properly. And that goes on the people that hired him and the people that decided to come back with him.
All right, Jalen Hurts' turnovers. Are those Nick Sirianni's fault?
No, but
right.
Here's what's his fault. His quarterback has to be more disciplined. He hired a coordinator who was supposed to make him more disciplined. He was supposed to hire a coordinator who would make it easy on him with pre-snap motion and all of that stuff. So what is he doing? Has he got his finger up his nose while Kellen Moore hasn't prepared the quarterback to be disciplined enough? It's all under the CEO.
All right, so that's the quarterback. Now let's jump over to the defense. Should we blame Nick Sirianni that Bryce Huff was a massive swing and miss by Howie Roseman? Should we blame Nick Sirianni for the fact that Nolan Smith was a first-round draft pick last year and is terrible?
These are the people that they've decided to go to war with. And it is up to the coaching staff to say, okay, he lacks this, so we got to do this. And you can't be a hardhead like Vic Fangio and bail out on two guys that were supposed to come here and help for various reasons. You can't bail out and say, no, we're not going to play those guys. The CEO's got to go, Vic, we got these guys for a reason. You got to find a way to work it with them. That's the CEO's responsibility.
So you want Sirianni to make chicken salad out of chicken scratch, what we talked about yesterday.
You can't let these things just go and not blame the CEO. Those guys should not have autonomy.
So you and I are in agreement here that the CEO coach should be blamed. I'm just looking at if we had a pie here and we're taking pieces of the pie to dish out responsibility, sure, the CEO needs to be blamed. Absolutely. Sirianni's not doing a good enough job, but he's not the sole issue.
What happens in business when a business goes down and the CEO has not cultivated his staff well enough, whether he's got a bad manager, whether he's got this or that? Who gets the heat? The CEO gets fired.
He does.
Maybe unfairly, but he gets fired because he's responsible and he's making the most money to orchestrate the whole business plan.
But there's a big difference between a CEO of a business and a CEO head coach. The CEO head coach, as Bill Parcells said, isn't picking out the groceries. Howie Roseman's picking out the groceries.
The CEOs of a business is not picking out the groceries either. Lower level management people are picking out the groceries.
Lower level. Howie Roseman's not lower level. Howie Roseman put this defense together, and I want to do an exercise with you later on in the show where we look at all the defensive players and you tell me who you feel good about.
Okay. I don't feel good about a lot of them. I'm saying the defensive coordinator who doesn't feel good about a lot of them has got to figure out a way to make them effective. 610-632-0975. Back after this. series left. It's the Mets and Brewers. That'll happen tonight. So on Saturday at 4:08?
4:08.
4:08 starting time. It'll either be the Brewers or the Mets. Now, I've been saying, boy, the Mets, they've been unmet-like in their zeal in this postseason. But they got knocked down a peg last night, so I don't know what that's going to do. I think the Brewers are the easier mark, to be honest with you. And I know people don't like and hate the Mets, don't respect them, and don't want to give it up, that they're kind of a different team right now. Well, I got to be honest with you. That would be a lot more exciting series.
The Mets would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm kind of rooting for the Mets just because I want to see. I can't believe they've never met in the postseason. It's crazy to me.
Here's where I think the Phillies had the edge in the playoffs. If you looked at these playoffs and what's going on with them, every team has a short hook on their starter. You notice this?
Yeah.
It's the short hook. It's the 4-inning hook comes out in the playoffs. The Phillies don't have to worry about that, really. They don't have a 4-inning hook unless it's Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, with Ranger. Well, Milwaukee does it because their bullpen's so damn good.
Yeah, but still, you're using your bullpen that early. That's going to wear out. That's going to wear on a bullpen. The Phillies get the edge because their starters can go 7, and then that shortens their bullpen where they can be the most effective. I think that's a major edge for the Phillies in this playoff series.
Does it make you nervous at all? Because I want to play the Mets just because I love the storylines. But does it make you nervous that they have 3 lefty starters?
No.
Because you look at the Milwaukee Brewers, they're all right-handed. All their starters are right-handed.
Yeah.
I don't know. The lefties scare me a little bit against this Phillies lineup.
Lefties pitching against the Phillies?
Yeah. I think the Phillies are a lot better of a lineup against right-handed pitching.
Let's just say, who are the pitchers? Right. Who will pitch against the Phillies if it's the Mets? That left-hander will they throw? Peterson?
Yeah. Peterson, Manaea, Quintana, probably.
Manaea pitched yesterday.
But I think at some point in a 5-game series,
but I'm talking about the first 2 games. The first 2 games, they're going to face the lower rung of their starting rotation. So if it's Montgomery, then that's Montgomery against Wheeler.
You would assume the Phillies should win the first game of the series. I just get nervous because I like the Phillies lineup when you can roll Marsh in center, Bryson Stott at second, going up against right-handed pitching. If there's a lefty on the mound, now you're going what? Rojas in center. I guess you're platooning Sosa at second base with Stott.
See, I wouldn't be platooning. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't. I would start Marsh, take my chances with Marsh instead of Rojas, and I'd have Stott in there. I wouldn't mess around. Now he probably will, but if it's a left-hander, I'll have Marsh play center field and Hayes play left, and Stott. I'll risk the 2 lefties in my lineup. I'm not gonna have Rojas in there. I can't have Rojas at the bottom of the order again.
You don't think his fielding makes up for it?
No. What is Marsh, a stiff out there?
Marsh isn't bad. He's not Rojas.
Okay. This Rojas thing is so overrated. But they're going to have him in there to catch a damn fly ball.
The good thing, though, is I'm talking about the left-handed pitching as the starting rotation for the Mets. I think they only have 1 lefty in their bullpen, Ray. So if you can get to the starting pitchers against the Mets, I do like the Phillies' chances if they get into that bullpen. Whereas you have the opposite with Milwaukee. Milwaukee has a good bullpen. So it's really pick your poison. You want to get them early or you want to get them late?
Yeah, you know what? Thompson is one of these guys that always looks at splits. So whatever left-hander the Mets are going to face, then he'll either chance playing Stott and Marsh or he won't, depending on the splits. We'll have to look those up. All right, 610-632-0975. Let's get to the phones. Charlie in Levittown. What's up, Charlie?
Thanks for taking my call, Mike.
How are you, Charlie?
I was going to talk Eagles, but frankly, I'm done with the Eagles.
No, you're not.
I got nothing left in the tank.
No, you're not done. This done thing happens all. I'm done. You're not done. You know you're not done.
I know I'm not done, but let's put it this way. They were on Fox. I was watching the Packers and the Vikings. That's where I'm at.
Well, that's no, you weren't. I think you're a liar.
No,
I think you're a liar, liar, pants on fire. You're not watching another game while the Eagles are on.
I can't.
Listen, I understand your frustration. I get it. It's coming out of you because everybody that's so frustrated, I'm done with them. And you know you're not done because they're going to win 3 of the next 4 games. Then what are you going to get? Call us to say you're done?
No, because these 4 games that everybody chalks up to wins, let me say it, because I think they're going to play down to the competition, and I don't know that they win 2 of those.
Well, you are really sour.
Yeah, Charlie.
Sour on them.
Come on, Charlie.
But you know what? I am very excited about the Phillies. That's where my energy's going. That's where it's going.
Okay, that's fair. Your energy should be with the Phillies, especially now.
Yeah.
Because the Eagles won't play for a really long time, right? So the Phillies will occupy your attention. But tell me why you're done. Why are you done with the Eagles?
I don't like Nick Sirianni.
Okay.
I don't like Vic Fangio. I don't like Kellen Moore. I mean, what else do I have to say? I don't like the coaches and the players. The players are just not. They're not.
Yeah,
showing up.
I think you're way too down on them because they're only 2-2. Now, if they were 2-4, I could see your point. But you're talking about games they can win. So how about if you hold your "I'm done" until we get through this 4-game span? Is that fair?
That's fair.
All right, you got it, buddy.
Man, Charlie.
I'm done. I love that. I'm done.
Yeah, you know what I
See
love?
that on the X
Yeah, a lot of people
all the
are
time. I'm done.
A lot of people are done. We started the show saying, "Hey, look, we've been overly negative. Let's try to be a little positive."
Listen, I don't know how much wider I can open the door. I've tried to open the door.
Here's what I'm going to give a little positivity here because Charlie said, "Well, we got these 4 opponents coming up, and everybody expects the Eagles to win them, and I think they'll be lucky to win one." The good news is, I know everybody knows the record of these teams. The Cleveland Browns have the 31st ranked offense in terms of yards and the 27th ranked offense in terms of points. Because I look at this Eagles team, and for me, the biggest concerns I have going forward aren't the offense. I think Jalen Hurts can hopefully fix things. You got enough weapons. I think the defense severely lacks personnel. So you get to come out against a team like Cleveland, who's 31st on offense, and then you follow it up against the Giants, who are 21st in yards, 29th in points. This could help get the mojo right a little bit, especially for that defense that maybe you're trying to find yourselves a little bit. We'll talk about the personnel, but at least the first 2 games out of the bye, you're not going against these high-powered offenses with great quarterbacks.
You know, I just mentioned the X. You know who's currently trending on the X right now?
What's trending right now?
Yeah.
Sports or celebrity related?
Sports. A sports story is trending.
I don't know.
Ben Simmons.
Oh, God.
So here's a tweet. If you're an online account posting Ben Simmons clips with eye emojis in 2024, you should actually be banned from the internet and maybe banned from watching basketball, period, because there are videos that are being posted with him in practice for the Nets shooting and making three-point shots.
I guess Brooklyn hasn't learned yet. That's why. I mean, we look, you got to admit, we fell for it a couple times.
Oh, they've learned. They've learned already. Here's the Ben Simmons cycle. We are here, it says. Off-season workout video. We are here. Goes up and the arrow goes up. Season starts. The arrow comes to the right. Plays terrible. The arrow swings to the bottom. Random back injury.
So they get it.
Oh, God.
Ben Simmons is
He's
the worst when it comes to these off-season videos.
I'm going to say, like, how long have I been doing this? A lot of years, right? Ben Simmons is the biggest sports fraud that I have ever come across.
I am who I am.
Ever.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree.
Ever. In 35 years of me doing this, he is the biggest sports fraud that I've ever come across.
I'm trying to think if there's anyone even close. Ray, you have anybody in mind that's even close to Ben?
In my lifetime, certainly not.
Me either. I don't know if there's anyone even close to it.
Of all the players that have ever played here, he is the biggest sports fraud ever.
Wow. That just brings back all the anger and hate.
Oh, I loathe him. I loathe him with a passion.
And we are. Look, sometimes we hate for no reason. We got valid reasons.
Like the fact that this guy is still pretending that to be a basketball player and has as little self-awareness. It's mind-boggling that a human being could be as little self-aware as this fool.
Yeah, what was it? This year, too, he's posted videos of him with his Lamborghini or Ferrari or whatever it is.
Let's go to Greg and Bethlehem before I get crazy. Greg, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Greg.
I am what I am. It is what it is. That's a great line. I think a potential silver lining for the Eagles is I think a lot of the offensive issues with turnovers and things and Hurts holding the ball could be ameliorated by a change in the offensive game plan. They haven't tried to throw too many short passes, which should be quick and less of a danger for interception. They haven't done that. They haven't really run the ball effectively, at least in the last game. And other times when they've struggled, they haven't featured the run. And I don't understand, the first 15 scripted plays, you can't tell me that the head coach hasn't reviewed them. So, what would cause them to throw a wheel route to Barkley as the first?
Well, it wasn't a wheel route. It was kind of a broken play, and then Saquon. Well,
it was a wheel route that he broke off into a long pass because he saw Jalen come out of the pocket. That's not a bad play. Why wouldn't you use Saquon Barkley in that spot? It's not a bad play. What's wrong with that play?
Well, I just think that
there's nothing wrong with that play. Now, if you're going to make the case they didn't run him enough, that's fine because they bailed out once they got behind, and then once they got behind by 2 and 3 touchdowns, then you're talking about having to throw to get back in the game.
Well, I mean, if you run the ball effectively early on, you should be able to matriculate down the field. And
yeah, but that doesn't mean you can't use a play like a wheel route to a really fast running back who can catch the football.
No, I mean, I guess you're trying to take them by surprise on the first play.
There's nothing wrong with that. You want three runs in a cloud of dust? Is that what you're looking for? It's the NFL. You got to switch it up. You got an offensive coordinator wants to use pre-snap motion, wants to get his running back in space. That's not a bad plan.
No, but what they've been doing hasn't worked, and they haven't featured the run that much.
They have, actually, until the last game, and then they got behind. I mean, he's had a lot of carries, right? He averaged like 20 carries a game last week.
Week 1, 24 carries. Week 2, 22 carries. Week 3, 17 carries.
Yeah, they have featured the run. That's not a complaint. They didn't feature it in the last. They didn't run the ball as much as they probably should have because they got behind and they panicked and didn't feel like they had enough time to sustain drives by running the football. That's what happened last week.
And this is why I keep going back to, I think in Philadelphia, we're so quick to blame coaching. I mean, you just heard Greg, I don't like the offensive game plan. At what point do we say that the $255 million quarterback has to play better? Because we said this last year.
He has to play better. But when you got Schlemiels that are your starting receivers, I know other teams have made that work. For some reason, Jalen Hurts couldn't make that work.
And look, you're giving him the benefit of the doubt in week 4 because he didn't have A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith.
And that's big. It's huge. That's what I thought people would say. Listen, it's probably unfair to just put the hammer down on him because look who he didn't have, and look what that does to the offense.
You'd be correct if this was only one game. You're talking now for the last season and the first 4 games of this season. It's the same story with Jalen Hurts. And the fact that they're 3-8 in their last 11 and Jalen has 9 interceptions and 8 fumbles in those 11 games.
Yeah, see,
you can't put all that on the coaching staff.
This is the way I look at things. When you can't do something about something, then you got to figure out a way to make it work. That's the way I look at it. You can't complain about Jalen Hurts because you're talking into a vacuum. It's not. That's not going to change. That part of it's not going to change. So it's up to everybody else that are supposed to be the experts to change it. It's like when you have a bad talk radio show, right? If you know what they're doing is not the right thing to do, you got to get them in a room and change them, right? You got to have a different game plan.
But here's why I have concerns, though, Mike, with Jalen. Last year, you had Sirianni and Brian Johnson, and they were the reason that Hurts was struggling. Well, this year now you brought in Kellen Moore, new quarterback coach, Doug Nussmeier, and a lot of the same bad habits are continuing. So at what point is it, hey, the player's the issue? It's not necessarily just the coaching. You understand what I'm saying? You got a new quarterback coach, a new offensive coordinator, and yet we're seeing a lot of the same problems that we thought were fixed.
Now, in sports talk radio, you can just fire a mother father, you know.
Yeah, we could,
but which happens a lot in this business. Yeah. But in pro sports, you can't fire the mother father. You just can't. You can't do it.
You can't. And look, and Jalen's not going anywhere. And I want to make this clear. I still think Jalen could be a very good quarterback in this league. I do. But I think when we look at the offense, he is the issue right now on why they're not as successful as fans want them to be. The defense, that's a whole other story. Obviously, it's not Jalen Hurts' fault what's happening with the defense.
Yeah. So we have a text from your burner account, I believe.
Yeah, we got a text.
Don't think you're going to get this past us, Bill. There's a text, and Ray and I know it's from Bill's burner account. Go ahead, Ray.
What do we got, Ray?
Either that or you're paying Andre in West Philly. It feels like deja vu. Andy Reid was covering for McNabb. Then he left, got a better quarterback, and started winning Super Bowls. Now, Nick is covering for Jalen. Then if he gets fired, he will go somewhere else. It may just be Jalen, not so much Nick.
Oh, so it was McNabb? The guy who became the best quarterback in the Eagle history? That's who we're comparing it to.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is amazing to me how many people don't realize that McNabb was the best quarterback in this franchise's history.
Although I appreciate Andre's point with regard to Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I think McNabb does not get enough credit. I thought he was a very good quarterback. McNabb he was corny, Mike. And I think that's why fans...
That's what made him hateable.
Yes.
This guy's the opposite of corny, which is why he's quick to be hateable.
He's robotic.
That's the funny thing that makes me chuckle.
Yeah,
he's robotic.
Like the main thing. Like, he's an AI quarterback, for crying out loud.
Keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah, come on.
We're going to just gloss over the whole Andy Reid, Nick Sirianni comparison here.
What are you talking about? Is that a problem?
A little bit. A little bit.
Bill's burner account.
Yeah.
No, that would have been my burner account outside of the McNabb thing. But I got to keep saying it. I don't think Sirianni is doing a great job. I just am upset that fans are blinded by it, and everything's his fault.
I sat here for years burying Andy Reid. Nick Sirianni couldn't paint his big toenail with clear.
You're not wrong on that.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not wrong on that.
By the way, I got my big toe painted with clear.
Do you?
Yeah,
you went clear on the petty too?
I don't know what to tell them. They like. Is that supposed to be it? Like, they go to me. Like, they don't speak English, so they go, clear, and I go. I mean, I don't know if they're saying I'm clear to get out of the tub, or I don't know. So I go, yeah. I say yeah to everything.
You just say yeah.
So next thing I know, there's a brush on my toes.
Pretty soon you're going to have the Jared McCain look coming in.
I got to be honest with you. I got smooth on these fingernails, but I got a little wretched on this fingernail.
How often you going now?
I'm probably not going to go anymore. I went twice in the last 2 months. Yeah, I don't know what kind of brush. It's like they use the wire brush on these nails because it's not smooth.
Tell you why, it's not cheap, man.
No, it's $40, mani-pedi.
So these women that go often, they're spending a lot of cash.
You duke them at 10 apiece because two ladies are working on you. One that's pounding on your leg. I go, what? And then she yanks it up. I don't know what the rules are.
See, I always get nervous. I'm very ticklish on my feet. I'm afraid I'm going to kick them in the face.
But I don't know what the protocol is. They pull your foot up and they put it on a towel. They do this. I don't know what they want me to do.
Yeah, I don't have that. I go with my wife and she directs me.
All right, 610-622-0975. Back after this. Because of an injury, pray for peace. Prepare for trial. GrungoLaw.com. Well, a lot of things coming your way for the rest of the show. We'll touch on the Sixers, who I see are practicing, or I don't know, I think this is just for walkthroughs, but they set up a court in their hotel ballroom. Did you see this?
Yeah, it looked strange.
They have a court down in their hotel ballroom. They have baskets up. Now, could the ceilings be high enough for that?
I thought the same thing. They must be high enough. But it's just, wouldn't it be awkward when you're trying to shoot? It looks like it was really small in there. Like
I'm assuming this is just for walkthroughs. You know, like second or third practices of the day before you have dinner or something, or before you go back to the hotel room.
So you think there's another court somewhere that they're practicing?
Oh
on?
yeah, I think they're practicing a big gymnasium. They have good facilities in the Bahamas, I'm told, for that. So,
could you imagine if an NFL football team, instead of going to Lehigh, went to the Bahamas for training camp?
Yeah, it's nice when you can get it. And also, piggyback on that, I see where our guest for FanFest proclaimed that he's the best rebounder of all time.
Yeah, I saw that.
Andre Drummond said he's the best rebounder in NBA history. And I go, dude, come on, man. You're playing backup minutes. All right, like per capita, I guess you have a high total. But there were full-time players. Let me see if I could think of two. If I go way back in time, where a guy used to get 50 rebounds a game, that would be Wilt frickin' Chamberlain. And then if I move into the 80s, into the 90s, there was a guy named Dennis Rodman, I think, right? Wasn't there?
The Worm.
Who was a starter, actually.
He was a starter and made a career out of that.
Come on, Andre. A little later, we'll touch on that.
Come on, Andre.
Come on, man. A little later in the show. Today's Thursday. So DB or not is coming your way.
It's one of my favorite segments.
Yeah, Major Bag Alert.
I got to be honest. I am shocked how many people have asked me what the DB means in the DB or not segment.
Yeah, well, you figure it out later.
Listen to the song. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. You bet, as Snoop would say, you better ask somebody.
You better ask somebody.
Yeah. So, and also, oh, wait, you're not going to miss this story. You know, sometimes we go off the grid. I got a story about Will Smith passing gas on a movie set and shutting down the set for a couple of days because it was so bad.
A couple of days?
A couple of days.
You must have made some people angry.
Hold on to your hats for that story. It's a coming. 610-632-0975. We go to Lewis and Pennsauken to start off the hour. What's up, Lou?
Hey, good afternoon, fellas. How you doing, Mike?
What's going on, Lou?
Hey, listen, can we all agree that the quarterback is generally the most important, cog in the wheel for an offense?
It's the most important position in sports.
Yes. Okay. So it's important that Jalen has everything he needs in order to be effective. Mm-hmm. Now, weapons are there, everything he needs as far as weapons are concerned. He needs to take a page out of. Did you hear that that guy Jaden Daniels, the new quarterback, the guy's like passing 82% of his, has 82% completion rate. He's using VR. Did you hear that?
What, the video thing?
Virtual reality.
Yeah. The goggles?
But what happens is he's getting 100 reps more than every other quarterback in the league because the VR, you can upload your offense, your players, and then the defense that you're going against that week and the defenses that they're in. Also, you can actually upload the stadium that you're going to play in that week.
All right, so that's either one of two things, either good coaching or a guy who's taking the initiative to get better.
Oh, yeah. Well,
right?
A German company came to him when he was in LSU.
Okay.
And they told, and they basically, I guess they use him as a tester. And so what I'm saying is, it's obviously working for him. Maybe he needs to take a page out of it. And
you would think if Lewis from Pennsauken knows that story, maybe Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni would know that, right? Right? Is it that far-fetched to think that the experts in the field coaching the guy would figure that out?
You would think. Sometimes you got to think out the box because he was the one that actually brought it to the Commanders. They didn't, he told them to invest in it, and they.
There you go. That was smart. I did not know that story, but that's he's had early success, so maybe that's helped.
He did it at LSU.
It may help you process because it looks like he knows exactly what he's looking at because he's not missing much. You know what I'm saying? So I think that maybe he needs to take a page out of that, and they need to look into investing in that because I want to give everything to Jalen he possibly can have before you say he can't do what we need him to get done.
All right. So just grade him. I want to hear what you think he is right now.
This year, Mike.
In general, what is he? What is he? Is he a franchise quarterback? What do you see?
No, I'm sorry. I can't get out of my mind what he did in taking us to the Super Bowl. So I'm going to say he's the ceiling is, I believe he's a B-plus quarterback that right now is performing at C-minus.
That's fair. That's fair. So you're optimistic. See, I don't know as he gets a little older whether he's ever going to play like he played that year. I see so many differences in his not just processing the field, but the running part of it is different. Like he was dynamic back then.
Yeah, he doesn't look as athletic for some reason.
He's not as dynamic.
But here's the point, Mike. He doesn't have to be. Like, this team has enough weapons that even if Jalen Hurts didn't get back to the same dynamic player he was in 2022, all he has to do is not turn the ball over. And this offense can be dynamic. Maybe Jalen Hurts isn't dynamic, but the offense can be as long as he doesn't turn the ball over. That has been the Achilles heel of this offense and will continue to be until Jalen Hurts fixes that issue.
But yeah, you're right. But those turnovers become because of faulty brain processing. It's like you fundamental. Like you don't throw the ball out of bounds to Saquon. You don't throw the ball in the middle of the field when you're on your back leg. You don't throw it across your body when you're in a cloistered space like the red zone. Like these are fundamental things that he shouldn't be doing.
And the fumbles. Because even in the 2022 season, he put the ball on the ground a ton. He just got lucky the Eagles jumped on it. The fumbles have been a constant throughout Jalen Hurts' career. He has to clean that up.
He's a weirdo, right?
Jalen?
Yeah.
It's
That's the
robotic.
funny thing that makes me chuckle.
He's weird.
He's a robot.
Yeah, but he's weird. Now, you can get away with weird, and you can get away with goofy, which was McNabb.
Corny. McNabb was corny.
Corny or goofy. It's kind of the same thing.
Number 5 will always love you.
Yeah, and so when you have that, you better perform. Because if you don't, people are going to take that flaw, or whatever you call it, and they're going to embellish it. And you're not going to be as likable. Like Jalen Hurts, stoic, 2 years ago, I love the way he's serious about the game. And he's, right?
Yeah, that changed quickly.
And then McNabb, they took him to the Super Bowl, and then he got good. And then it was goofy. Then it was their guitar, and we were focused on those kind of things. So if you're going to have those quirks, you're going to have to perform because people are then going to turn that against you. So that goofiness makes you a bad quarterback. That stoicness makes you a bad quarterback.
You can even look at what happened with Carson Wentz here, too. I mean, there was a lot of the chatter about how he was different, didn't really relate to a lot of his teammates. But when you're winning games, people look past it. When you start to struggle, it gets blown up.
Yeah, the perception of Wentz here, though, was that he was tough and he was daring. And that maybe with his teammates, he was looked at as a bad teammate. But the perception from the fan base was different until he started just completely forgetting how to play the position.
Yeah, there was...
he was more likable at a stage than either McNabb or Jalen Hurts was.
Yeah, at a certain point, he was being called the Ginger Jesus.
Exactly.
People loved Wentz back then. But then there was those articles that came out questioning Wentz.
Uh-huh.
There was an article that came out about Hurts last season, and they related it to Wentz and said when Wentz got knocked down, he'd be looking around who to blame. When Hurts gets knocked down, he doesn't look around for help. He gets up himself. So maybe he's more of a loner, Jalen Hurts. I don't know.
He probably is. No, I don't know what the perfect personality for a quarterback is. I really don't know. I'm looking at the great quarterbacks in history. Like Montana was stoic. Well, son of a gun. Like he was.
What was it?
He was
What's
deadly. It's like.
What's the famous story though? Montana goes into the huddle. Was it the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl? And he goes, "Oh, look, there's John Candy."
Yeah.
Loosened up the entire.
Yeah,
huddle.
but I think he was just naturally like that. Like.
But
I don't know. Look at the quarterbacks who are popular and look what their personalities are.
Brady, Mahomes, competitors.
Competitors. Were they loners? Were they weirdos?
Brady seems like a weirdo.
Brady wasn't a weirdo. He was overly competitive. Like he would growl in your face. He would growl in his coach's faces and his players' faces. They weren't doing their job. That's I'm okay with that.
And I think Brady's liked by his teammates.
610-632-0975.
Yeah, when you win that much.
We got some text line questions for Bill. We'll get to them after this.
The go on.
Ray Dunn grew up as a little Ray. You get two $50 point cards for the price of one to Arnold's Family Fun Center in Oaks, PA.
It's fun,
Can you
Ray.
imagine little Ray romping around in his go-kart or playing mini golf with his mom or bowling and more action-packed excitement for all ages, including Ray when he was 12.
I'm sure it would look
Right,
a lot
Ray?
like it
And
would
Ray
look
when
if he
he's
played
24.
now. Yeah. Look exactly the same.
Get this exclusive offer while supplies last on our website, 975thefanatic.com/details. All right, let's get to the tweet board, the text board. Text line has a question for Bill.
Yeah, Joe from South Philly wants to know, Bill keeps defending Nick, saying nothing is his fault. What does he do well?
Nick Sirianni?
Yes.
Once again, I have not said that Nick Sirianni is having a great year as a coach.
That's the question. Why are you avoiding the question?
I'm answering it.
What does he do well?
I'm answering it. This is like
All
a
right.
political response
okay,
here.
all right, go ahead.
You know, where you don't answer the question that's asked?
Mm-hmm.
No, but really, what I thought that Nick Sirianni did well, and I am questioning it with the way last season ended and with the way this season is going, is I did think Nick Sirianni was great at building a culture. That was one of the things I thought was his strength. When he came here, I thought that the Eagles cult, that he was dealing with a lot of things. I don't have to rehash them, that the Super Bowl hangover, the new coordinators, all those things. I wanted to see what he did this year. And now adversity is hitting very early. It's only 4 games in. Adversity is hit. Is this culture a strong culture? Not great signs, Mike. So to that texter's point, you're probably right. He's not doing much well right now.
Let me ask you a question. As they were spiraling into Nowheresville last year, what were you thinking about the head coach?
I was very frustrated. I was very frustrated.
That
with the head
didn't
coach.
turn you off enough? Like, what more did you need to see?
The reason that I wanted him back this season, and I felt like he deserved to come back, and I've gone over this a lot on the air, I didn't blame him for what you were seeing on the defensive side of the football last year. I looked at a defense last season with Sean Desai, then with Matt Patricia, that severely lacked talent on that side of the football. They were one of the worst defenses in the NFL from start to finish. So you come back this year, and I said, okay, let's give the guy the benefit of the doubt. He lost Jonathan Gannon last year right after the Super Bowl, even though you thought Gannon was coming back, and then he wasn't. Now you're behind the 8 ball. You got to go out and find someone. You lost Fangio. You lost your offensive coordinator in Shane Steichen. You promote the quarterback's coach, which made sense. Things didn't work out. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's see what he does when he comes back this year without all of those other factors at play. It's only been 4 games. I don't think that people should overreact and fire Nick Sirianni yet, but how does he now handle this adversity? And if I've been consistent with this, if this season is not successful, depending on how you define success, Sirianni shouldn't be back next year. But I do still believe he deserved to come back this season.
This is a man who oversaw one of the biggest collapses in NFL history. He was the CEO of one of the biggest collapses in NFL history, to the point where the Eagles, towards the end of that season, looked like a monkey trying to have sex up a beach ball.
What's that look like?
I don't even know. It just came to my
What's
head.
that look
They were
like?
just discombobulated. They were like all over the place.
And then it's dysfunction this and dysfunction that.
Exactly.
This is why I get accused of loving Nick. I don't love Nick. I just felt like he deserved to come back.
Oh my God!
In light of what happened.
This is where
you took a small sample size.
No. Small sample size. It was one of the biggest collapses in NFL history. How's that small?
You're talking about 7 games, a 7-game span.
Bill, how do you reduce that to small? A small sample size, and that is such a revealing sample size. It's not even funny. It's a clear plate glass window into the soul of a team.
You would admit that the 2022 season was one half of football away from being the greatest season in franchise history.
But Bill, it's not. This is not a league where you get points like you're playing skee ball. and you can then cash it in for an egg slicer. This is not the way the NFL works. The NFL works like it's what are you at the current moment? All right, you can end your season on a losing streak, right? You can lose a couple games. When you're 10-1 and you preside over the biggest collapse in football history, arguably, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to then show you everybody how many skee ball tickets you have?
I keep going back to this.
That was brilliant, by the way.
That was pretty good.
Wasn't that brilliant, Ray?
That was really
That was
I
really
don't know
good.
where that's brilliant.
It was almost
Yeah,
better than the monkey humping the beach ball.
I think it bailed out the monkey.
All right.
Yeah, the monkey humping the beach
All
ball.
right.
But my point has always been what Sirianni was dealing with last year, and this is why I get accused of defending him, but these are just facts. There had only been 2 teams prior to the 2023 Eagles that went to a Super Bowl and lost both of their coordinators. And you were talking about George Seifert and Steve Young, Hall of Famer. Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, 2 Hall of Famers. They're the only 2 teams in NFL history that had to deal with that, and neither one of them got out of the divisional round. So when we say, oh, well, Sirianni oversaw the greatest collapse in NFL history, well, how many teams had to deal with what the Eagles dealt with? And then you factor in the defensive personnel, losing all of the starters that they lost, letting Chauncey Gardner-Johnson walk, T.J. Edwards walk, Kazir White walk, Javon Hargrave went to San Francisco. You put all of those things in the pot, that's why I felt like he deserved to come back. It may be the wrong decision. We're going to find out over the next few weeks. But I think it would have been a knee-jerk reaction.
Now we have to find out. The whole town is bailed. They have no faith in the head coach. They have no faith that the head coach can work with this quarterback. So we now we're going to find out. See, the progressive organizations go, oh, that's enough for me. I saw what I needed to see. I got to go a different direction because a bunch of skee ball tickets in a Slurpee cup on my bureau mean nothing.
Listen, I said this in the summer. I'm going to say it again. If Howie Roseman failed to build this defense again, which it looks like maybe he did, Sirianni will be the guy who gets canned because of it. But
we'll get to that in a bit.
We're going to go through all these defensive draft
picks. And you're not wrong when it comes to that. What I'm saying is the CEO has to figure out a way to take a team out of the doldrums. He ushered them last year when they were in the doldrums, and now they're back in it. 610-632-0975. We got one more question for Bills. We go into the break. Go ahead, Ray. What do you got? What are they saying?
Yeah, we got Eric checking in. How can Bill go from talking about a small sample size of games at the end of last year for Nick, but say the same thing about Jalen?
Because it hasn't been a small sample size for Jalen at this point. You're talking about 7 games down the stretch where they're 1-6.
Mm-hmm.
But Jalen Hurts has led the NFL in turnovers dating all the way back to the beginning of last season. So now you're talking 22 games of Jalen Hurts being a turnover machine. And I even mentioned it earlier, even in his MVP caliber 2022 season, he still fumbled the ball way too much. He got lucky because when you put the ball on the ground, sometimes your team recovers it. That's what happened in 2022. In fact, I think he had the same amount. Let me check my numbers here before we hit the break. I think Jalen had the same amount of fumbles. Yes, in 2022, 9 fumbles, but he only lost 2. Last year, 9 fumbles, they lost 5. A lot of that is just luck. You put the ball on the ground, you better hope your team falls on it. Fumbles have been an issue throughout his entire career.
All right. Yeah, he's not wrong.
No.
610-632-0975. Back with your calls after this. afternoon at noon, and our $1,000 cash giveaway is coming up. You know, I was thinking during the break, my mind wanders. I had brought up Ben Simmons as the biggest Philadelphia sports fraud ever. I was trying to think of some others that would be in the category, the list, but nobody surpasses Simmons for my. So, but we can go to, we can stay in basketball and go with Andrew Bynum.
That's the one that came to my mind.
Yeah,
Text line had that one.
Yeah, Andrew Bynum, and we can go to football and we go Nnamdi Asomugha.
Nnamdi,
the actor.
Yeah,
is he an actor now? When I read that he was eating lunch by himself in his car at the NovaCare complex, I'm like, there's something off with this guy.
Yeah, I sat next to him at a banquet once.
Nice guy?
He's a really nice guy, but I never got the impression that he liked football that much as I was talking to him about football.
Wait, was he married to Kerry Washington?
He still is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's married to Kerry Washington. That's a good pull by him. Gotta be honest with you.
Yeah, but
he's a handsome guy.
Yeah, he's a good-looking dude.
He's a smart guy. We went to Cal. You go Cal Berkeley. I think he went to Cal.
I don't know. But yeah, that is a good pull. But he's a good-looking dude.
Now Wentz would be on that list as well. There's got to be a fly. What flyer recently has been that kind of a sports fraud?
Ilya Brizgalov.
Yeah, Brizgalov.
Flyers fans finally thought the goalie situation was solved.
Yeah.
They give all this money to Brizgalov, and the worst part of it is they lost Bobrovsky because of it.
Yeah.
Bobrovsky ends up leaving the year after they signed Brizgalov, and look at Bobrovsky's career.
What Philly? It's got to be a pitcher.
Adam Eaton.
Yeah. I don't know if he's big enough to even consider.
Oh, my dad just texted me a Philly as you said it.
What's that?
Von Hayes.
Nah, Von had some decent years.
Yeah, he said 5 people were traded for him.
Yeah, the problem is that he was, but 5 stiffs were traded for him. No, not 5 stiffs. They traded Manny Trio in that deal and Julio Franco, who became a star. He was a young player.
I got one.
But the other 3 were just.
I got a Philly sports fraud. Not a player, though. Coach.
Chip.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
But the way it started was spectacular, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. That Washington Commanders game?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
All right, let's go to Laura in Rockledge. What's up, Laura?
Michael, Bill, Ray, good morning.
What's happening?
So, I don't know, but I think Ben Simmons might be friends with that Australian breakdancer. I think they had the same coach because frauds. Anyway.
He's not even welcome in it. He's such a fraud that he's not even welcome in his own country.
Is that true?
Yeah, they don't even want him on the what do they call the Boomers?
Sure, yeah.
They don't even want him on that team anymore.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't even want him being the mascot. Anyway, so listen up, okay? Because I need your help here. I would say it's safe to say, right, that baseball fans and football fans are not exactly the same animal. Is that fair, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, but would it be fair to say that most Phillies fans are also Eagles fans and vice versa, do you think?
Most Philly fans are Eagles fans. I think that there's a similar fan base. Most Eagle fans would be Phillies fans, yes.
Okay, right, okay. So
the only disparity you'll get, you'll find Flyers fans aren't Sixers fans.
Well, that's a valid point. Okay, so here's the I am imploring the Philadelphia sports fan base, right? Because I agree with the caller earlier. I do not have the energy any longer to continue with the angst against the Eagles, right? Especially 4 games into the season. And then also support my Phillies who are about to do what they're about to do. So please, can we perhaps put the Eagles on the back burner on a low heat?
Well, you're never going to be able to do that with the Eagles.
This negative energy that's in the atmosphere is not helping.
No, one doesn't have anything to do with the other, Laura. But the Phillies now get full stage. Yeah, right now they have full stage.
Can we get it out of our system over the next 36
No,
hours?
because when the Eagles are back playing, you know what this town is.
Can we worry about it then? And please bring just positive.
You can't change you can't change the pie chart.
And the only reason Nick is still here, by the way, is Howie Roseman. So there's that.
All right. You got it, Laura. Everybody's going to be in on the Phillies. My God, when this starts, you don't even realize these 2 games, if they're against the Mets, the energy that's going to be in this city for Saturday and Sunday.
I really want the Mets. I know that you look at the matchups, maybe the Brewers are a better match. It just doesn't get much better than that, Phillies-Mets. You've never seen it before in a postseason matchup.
Yeah. Well.
What, you think they meted last night and maybe they're not coming back?
They got poked. The balloon got poked a little bit. It was a slow leak in the Mets. They had really been invincible. And they let a game go late in the game last night. And it was because of our old pal, what was his name, the backup infielder, Maton's brother? What was his name?
Nick Maton.
Nick Maton's brother.
Good old Phil.
Phil Maton gave it up last night for the Mets.
And that happened in the bottom of the 8th, right?
Yes. Yeah. So when that happens, it kind of breaks your aura a little bit because the Mets had been doing that to other teams.
Who's favored tonight? I want to check the sports book.
With the Mets and Brewers?
Yeah.
It was funny in the 7th, I think it was.
Mets are favorite.
Broadcast crew was talking about, we talk so much about Brewers, a great fielding team. They've had fielding miscues. We talk so much about this Mets bullpen. They've thrown strikes. They've looked good. And then within an inning later.
Yeah, they jinxed it.
They became what they were.
All right, so who's pitching tonight for the Mets?
So Mets got Quintana on the mound.
Oh.
Milwaukee's got Myers on the mound. The Mets are a slight favorite. Plus 110, according to FanDuel. The Brewers are a minus 130.
All right. Well, Tobias Myers.
Late start tonight, too. 8:39.
Tobias Myers, pitching against the Mets, has a 2.86 ERA at home. Now, he's a youngin'. They brought him up, didn't they? Somewhere along the line?
You pulled that up pretty quick. Yeah. For being an older guy, you're pretty savvy with technology. Isn't he, Ray?
When he hits you during the break, man.
He's got his little laptop that's got the.
I didn't pull up a website for crying out loud.
Although it did take you, 3 weeks before your email was situated?
No, my email's still not situated. I'm not even listed. I'm not even listed in our email thing. I've been trying to straighten this out for 4 weeks. If you go into like our main system and you'll have all the people who work here, their names.
Oh, you talking about when you try to log in?
When I log in.
The duo password.
I'm not even listed.
Security, man. You got to pass security before they're going to let you into the computer system.
I've told Mike Vito 100 times about this.
Vito catching strays on the show. You know he's out there.
I'm not in the system.
Come on, Vito.
That's total disrespect. Let's go to Steiny in Lehigh Valley. Steiny, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Steiny.
Thanks for taking my call. You made a good point about 15 minutes ago. You said that you have to evaluate these teams or judge these teams by basically what's going on right now. And what's going on right now with Jalen Hurts having his 2 main receivers out, a lot of starting quarterbacks in the NFL wouldn't be playing all that great. If you take, for instance, during the Super Bowl a couple of years ago, Pat Mahomes didn't have his starting tackles, and he didn't score a touchdown.
No, I get it. It's certainly not helping Jalen Hurts because the field is much more open with those 2 guys there. I totally understand that. But you got to coach your way around that. You just can't take an L because those 2 guys are missing.
No, plus Lane Johnson's down too. I mean,
I get it, but you can't you can't go into a game saying, "Well, you know, we're going to lose because these guys." NFL teams are supposed to have guys that can fill in.
Right, and I'm not saying that's why they lost, but when you
I think you are saying that.
No, I'm saying any quarterback is going to struggle if they lose their top 2 wideouts. And not just the top, they're 2 of the top 20 wideouts in the NFL.
Steiny, let me ask you a question. If you're the offensive coordinator, and you know that, right? Are you going to have a game plan that takes advantage of things that don't really include those 2 guys, but other things that you can move the ball with?
I mean, you're gonna try to.
Okay, so your game plan has to be different. That's why they pay these guys. They pay these coordinators big cash.
Right.
Right? So come up with a game. Guess what? AJ's out, Devontae's out. What can we do? Okay, how about if we do this?
It's no surprise, I don't think, to anybody out there listening, Sirianni won't be the Eagles coach next year.
Well, they rally. Suppose they rally. Like the Bill's standing on this edge right now, and somebody can knock him off. He's on the edge going into a great big cavern. But if they win the next 4, Bill's going to say, "See, I told you Sirianni's capable."
But rally
So
to
much
what,
good.
With that defense, how much rallying are they going to do?
Wait, but see, you're making my point for me, Stein.
Let's go into the defense.
Well, he just said, Sirianni's not going to survive, and then he talks about the defense. Hold on, before we go into the defense, I want to correct something I said. I said first pitch is at 8:39. For whatever reason, FanDuel has it at 8:39, but it's a 7:08 first pitch tonight. So I don't want people to miss the beginning of the Mets-Brewers game.
You think Philly fans are going to be tied into the first pitch of that game?
I think so. I'm watching.
Oh, I don't think so.
I'll be tied in. Ray, you're going to be tied in.
Philly fans.
Well, Ray's a huge baseball fan.
Yeah, the Philly fans will just catch a score. They're not going to sit there and watch the Mets.
You're not going to scout it?
I like baseball. I watched all those games yesterday.
I leapt out of my seat yesterday when Garrett Mitchell hit that home run.
Who's that guy from the Royals? They got him from Oakland, and he came in throwing 99. It is amazing how many guys around the league now are just fire.
They are, but
Urseg.
But aren't they?
Isn't that Urseg?
Yeah. It's an EB something.
Yeah, how do you pronounce
his name
it?
Is Urseg.
But aren't they? Isn't the speed gun, different the way they calibrate it now? Aren't they? I read this somewhere. They're not doing it from the side. It's Ray. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It's
That's
legit.
increasing. They're throwing fast, man.
It's legit. The training is such now that you're going to be able to gain velocity.
You think you could hit a fastball?
No, that fastballs those guys are throwing.
Ray, you think you could hit it?
Me?
No.
I get a Jamie
10
Moyer's
swings.
fastball.
10 swings. You know it's a fastball every time. You think you could hit it?
But the way it's moving?
No,
there's a reason I didn't make it far.
It takes years of timing to get that kind of fast twitch muscle to hit something. That fast.
And don't tell me you think you could.
I think I could probably put one in the gap.
Please.
I could probably
I'm
put one in
begging
the
you.
gap.
No. Maybe
I always said I could hit Jamie Moyer's fastball. Like if I faced Jamie Moyer, and he couldn't throw any kind of breaking stuff, he would just have to throw me straight fastballs. I'd be able to hit that.
Jamie Moyer,
because he's throwing 79, 80.
You could hit a Colby Allard pitch.
I couldn't hit Kobe Allard either because he's at least at 90. That's a calibration. You have to be just geared up and have your eye-hand coordination and your speed adjustment. You just can't climb in there and hit that.
You can get into the batting cages. They ramp it up to 90, don't they?
No, they throw from 40 feet.
Does our deal of the week? Does Arnold have batting cages?
I don't know if they do.
They don't have them?
Not when I was there. Not when I was there. I don't know if they've added things since I've been there.
Batting cages are inefficient because they're shooting the ball out at you like a cannon. It's all about the motion and finding out where the guy's release point is and looking for it there. And you can't do that with those wheel machines.
I think
we
if
never
you
used
gave
wheel
me,
machines. We had live pitching inside cages.
How many pitches do you think it would take for me to hit one?
You wouldn't be able to hit that.
If you knew it was a fastball.
If I knew it was a fastball.
There's no way you'd be able to hit 95.
I think I could. You think I could foul one off?
You couldn't hit 90 either. You couldn't. Your reaction time would not be quick enough to hit that.
How much baseball did you play?
I only played up until high school.
So you have no swing. So basically you have no mechanics of making your body get to that pitch. Yeah, no, you're screwed.
I think I'm athletic enough that I could hit a ball.
See, that's what the big mistake is here. You think it's all athleticism. There's technique in this whole thing. There's mechanics.
How do we test this out?
Bill, trust me. Your fast twitch muscle would not be able to you wouldn't be able to start the motion of the bat as that ball is coming to you. Those guys are geared up to start the motion of the bat. They use a trigger. They use their kick leg. You couldn't just stand in there. You would be 1 second behind.
And knowing I'm not trying to take a shot here, but it's going to sound like a shot here. Being more of the meathead type, more with the upper body, your leg kick is going to put you behind the 8 ball because you're going to be trying to kill that ball, and it's not going to work for you.
I think I could hit it.
It's silly even to think
I
about
think I could hit a fastball.
But it's funny in my head to picture this happening.
I have played years of baseball. I still play. And there's no way that I'm going to be able to hit 95. You just say it's just not, you're not going to be able to do it.
If I knew it was all fastballs.
I can't believe you're holding on.
If I knew it was all fastballs. If you're telling me the guy's going to be throwing curveballs and changeups, I'm never going to be able to hit it. If I knew it was a fastball every time.
You're not going to be able to hit 90 mile an hour.
But what you're assuming in this, it's a fastball, is that there is no movement on a fastball, which is already a fallacy in your mind.
What do you think Ricky Bo's throwing these days? Maybe we can make this happen.
No, because I think Connor's already challenged this, because now you're really starting to get into Connor Thomas territory, and I'm not going to take a shot at Connor on his birthday.
You know what? if that's how you're describing me. I can't hit it.
What did Connor turn 19 today?
I think he's
If he turned 19, how old am I?
No, I'm saying he's about 19, isn't he?
All right, hold on now.
19. I might not have a license
Is he
yet.
a grown-up yet, Connor?
I think he's in the threes now, isn't he?
This is 30 for him.
Oh, wait. We're talking about the fastball. Now somebody on YouTube saying that not only could I not hit a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, that I would not be able to gain 1 yard in the NFL. I could definitely gain a yard in the NFL. 1 yard?
You got a better chance to gain 1 yard in the NFL than you do to hit a fastball.
Yeah, I think you may be right. Yeah. I think you may be right. I could gain a yard.
You may be right. These guys sword swing through 90. Major leaguers sword swing through 95 plus, and Bill Colorado is going to climb in there and hit.
Hey, listen, I got the support. Casey Boy from WMMR just texted. He said I got it.
Oh, Casey, come on.
Casey Boy said I could do it. I agree with him.
Stop it, Casey.
Let's make this happen.
Let's go to Joe, West Palm Beach. Joe, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Joe.
Hey, Mike. I want to know your feelings about the Vikings and the Jets game. The Jets are getting 3 points. What do you think about that spread?
It's weird. It's a weird spread. I thought weren't the Jets favored in the game?
You said that, and I kept telling you I didn't see that.
All right, so the Jets are only getting 3. It's a Jets line.
It's down to 2.5 on
2.5. It's a Jets line.
Right? Right.
I mean, I don't know what to make of the Jets. I really don't.
Those London games are funky, though.
And they are funky, and so I would bet if I had to make a bet on that, I would bet the Jets.
Okay. Hey, Bill, don't insult Mike for being old. We've got this in common. We're both 68-year-old, good-looking Italian guys, so don't insult us, man.
He is a good-looking guy. It's hard to do the show sometimes. I get distracted by his good looks.
Yeah, I met him at the event a couple Saturdays ago. But we got 3 things in common, Mike. We're both 68. We're both good-looking, and we're both Italian. And we got 1/4 thing in common too. We both dated some of the same women.
Oh boy, where's this going?
What?
Let's keep Joe on the line.
No idea what he's even talking about. I don't even remember Joe.
And he's from West Palm. When were you down there?
Is he talking about he was at FanFest?
Maybe.
He said the event a couple Saturdays ago.
Well, that would be FanFest.
I guess.
No, I don't remember who Joe is. I'm sorry.
Me either. I don't remember him either. But it says he's from West Palm Beach. He flew up for FanFest.
I don't know. It sounds like he's been quite active on the Philly social scene to me.
I don't know. He sounded like he was about to reveal too much information about Mike.
I'm pretty sure that we've never dated the same women. I would have known. 610-632-0975. Oh, News at Noon is coming up. One of my favorite programs of this program.
And we're still going to go down the Eagles' defensive draft pick history, Mike, because I want people to understand that Howie Roseman is the reason that this defense is in the state that it's in.
And to be clear, you want to make sure no one's upset with Sirianni.
We're definitely going to do that. I just got a text from a guy that I play on the baseball team with.
He said I could do it, didn't he?
That Bill couldn't hit me at our BP sessions.
All right. We're going to make this happen. I'm going to call Ricky Bo. If he can't throw anymore, I'm sure he can get us.
First of all, you're not going to face 60 feet 6 inches. You're going to face BP. Like they shortened it. Like what my guy is telling me, he throws hard from 40 feet. So it comes.
So it's the equivalent.
Well, it's not the equivalent of 95, but it's the equivalent. You have to have a fast twitch.
I haven't swung a bat in years either.
This is amazing.
No. You don't get to back up now.
How you disrespect hitting a baseball, which is the hardest single
I'm
thing
saying
to do.
If you know that you're getting a fastball, how many does it take before you actually are able to make contact?
You're not going to make contact with 95. You're not going to make contact. Your reaction time is not going to be able to catch up by the time the ball gets past you.
I think I could do it. I'm not seriously. I think I could do this.
Don't look for me for support.
We'll schedule it. I get 30 days to practice.
Oh, now you need 30 days to practice.
Oh, yeah. You walked in the studio able to do it 10 minutes ago, and now all of a sudden you need 30 days.
Mike Missanelli Show continues. Happy lunchtime, everybody. Service First Heating and Air Conditioning brings us the 12 o'clock hour. You get 0% financing for 72 months, $500 rebate when you purchase a complete heating and cooling system from Service First. Learn more at ServiceFirstHVAC.com. You a Tom Petty fan?
I do like Tom Petty. Yeah.
I hate to leave like a refugee.
Last Dance with Mary Jane.
Refugee.
I was disappointed because he was here, what was it, a year or two before he passed away. I wish I would have gone to the show.
Who used to do an imitation of him on Saturday Night Live?
Was it Will Ferrell?
I don't think so. Somebody used to do an imitation of him. It was pretty good, actually.
I'm looking it up.
Look at that hound dog face of his. And the head, that stringy blonde hair around his face. He had that thing going. I forget who it was. In any event, we'll get to that. Report and stuff like that. And Will Smith's flatulation problem this hour. And also, DB or not coming up a little later. But right now, it is time for the news at noon.
There's a whole lot going on in this world. It's time to catch up. Here's the news at noon. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Yes, it's time for the news at noon. Where Ray Dunn picks 3 stories that are interesting to make fun of. It's the news at noon. Go ahead, Ray.
All right, let's start with your favorite. We got a basketball podcast, and I want to ask, you remember that 2016 NBA offseason? Remember when everyone was just getting ridiculous paychecks?
When are they not getting ridiculous?
Yeah.
But that was the one where
that broke the seal.
Yeah, that was the one where all the money kind of jumped. I think it was a new TV deal at that point. Salary cap went up, and everyone got ridiculous paydays. For a lot of people, you remember the Mozgov deal where he got an absurd amount of money after that run with the Cavs, go to the Lakers.
Timofey Mozgov.
Yeah, I think it was $64 million, something like that he got from the Lakers.
Yep.
Well, Greg Oden went on the OG's podcast and had retired just around that time. Here was his reaction to seeing that offseason happen after he retired.
Well, I put it like this. The year I retired was the year Timofey Mozgov, no disrespect, got that $50 million, and I wanted to kill everybody in the world. I hated life. I was depressed. Like, if they threw him $50 million, I'm like, all I need to do is be on the team. That's 20, easy.
Well, that's a shame. Greg Oden's career went that way. He never got that got that cash.
He was great in college.
He had bad pins.
So he retired right before a big payday.
Before everyone else got their big payday.
Wait, what year you say that was when they all got their paydays?
2016 was when Mozgov got his payday.
And Ogden was out of the league in 14, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was just
right after he retired. He's living.
He had a back problem.
I can't blame him, though. Watching Mozgov get 64, knowing how talented you were.
Well, what are you going to do, man? Your body doesn't hold up. What do you expect? Get paid? You know? But like they would have paid him if he was healthy.
Oh, yeah, I know that.
I worked with an agent when I was actually thinking of breaking into the sports agency world. I worked for a summer with an agent who represented the guy who broke the seal in the NBA way back in the day was John Kincade. He was a white center with the Atlanta Hawks. You can look this up. Somehow he got $2.2 million, which at that time
was a ton.
Was extraordinary. And my guy was his agent. He got in some kind of bidding war with something. You can look it up. They called him John Contract from that point on because he was a mediocre white center who somehow got paid. And I was working with his agent at the time.
Yeah, now everybody gets paid.
Yeah. All right.
Mozgov can relate.
Yeah.
Get that money. All right, I want to take you to the college ranks here, and this is a journalist question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Because Hugh Freeze has had plenty of quotable moments so far this season, and a season that's probably going to be very forgettable for Auburn fans.
Mm-hmm.
This question by a journalist had people questioning whether or not this was someone trying too hard to get an answer that he wanted, or just a really, really strange dude asking the question.
Coach, a long time ago, after a loss to Tennessee, a quote, a man spoke, "It's going to be a lot of days when you lay your guts on the line and come away empty-handed. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it but go back and lay them on the line again and again and again." And that man was Coach Patrick Fane Dye. Is that the kind of message you're going to take to your team?
Wait, that was the reporter?
That was the reporter quoting
Pat Dye?
Yes. Quoting Pat Dye to ask Hugh Freeze a question. Trying too hard or just a great journalist that's invested in Auburn football?
Well, that's such a Southern football type of journalist. It's like, come on, man. They're different down there. They're all part of they're part of the game, those guys down there. They're like, Patrick Dye. Pat Dye, the same guy who kicked the field goal to tie a bowl game, if I remember correctly. He kicked the field goal to tie a bowl game. You can look that up. Hugh Freeze. Like, there come a time when you had to lay your guts on the line and you come up empty.
Coach, a long time ago, after a loss to Tennessee, a man spoke. There's going to be a lot of days when you lay your guts on the line and come away empty-handed. Ain't a damn thing you can do about it but go back and lay them on the line again and again and again. And that was Coach Patrick Fane Dye. Is that the kind of message you're going to take to your team?
He had his middle name in there.
He did. Patrick Fane Dye. And you're right, Mike. Patrick Fane Dye's bowl record, 7-2-1.
I covered the game. He kicked I forget who, I don't even remember who they're playing. He kicked the field goal to tie the game.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't overtime back then. He actually walked out of there with a tie. Find out who that was against. I can't believe I can't remember who. I covered the game. I was in the post-game press conference as he was trying to explain it.
It was the Sugar Bowl, I think.
Yeah, the Sugar Bowl.
The 1988 Sugar Bowl. Auburn versus Syracuse.
That's right.
1988.
He kicked the field goal to tie the game.
Do you remember who the MVP was of the game?
Was it a quarterback?
It was.
It was the quarterback for Auburn, right? Pat Sullivan?
Incorrect. The quarterback for the other team.
Oh, it was the quarterback for Syracuse?
Don McPherson.
Oh, and the Eagles drafted him. The Eagles wound up drafting Don McPherson.
And another interesting Eagles connection. Oh, no, that's not him. Never mind. The play-by-play announcer was Keith Jackson. Different Keith.
The game was 10-10, wasn't it?
16-16.
All right, 16-16, and the quarterback got the MVP. McPherson?
McPherson got the MVP.
Oh, my God. I was down there to cover basketball, I think. And so they told me just cover the Sugar Bowl. There was a Sugar Bowl basketball tournament that I think Temple was playing in.
Sounds right to me.
Wait a second.
Let me see if I can recall this. It was a Sugar Bowl basketball tournament. I'm down there covering it. Temple played Southern in the first game, and their star player was Avery Johnson. Let's see if that's correct.
What was the 1988 Temple
Sugar Bowl basketball tournament? And so I was down there, and so I covered the Sugar Bowl. So I covered the football game, too. Avery Johnson played for Southern.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time.
All right, well, anyway.
I'm having a hard time finding it.
Continue, Ray.
All right, last one here for you. I can't help myself this week. I just feel like I'm in a world from like 4 or 5 years ago with Doug Peterson, just getting all of this stuff from the Jaguars. I haven't lost the locker room, says a man that may have potentially lost his locker room.
I talk to these guys every day. I see them every day. And no, I have not lost the locker room. I think these guys have done everything I've asked. They continue to play and practice hard and battle, and it's a good group. It's a good group. The right leaders in there, and they know what we need to do, and they're not making excuses for it, and I'm not going to make excuses, and we just got to go do it.
And then on Sunday, you called a question about your job security a strange question. Why did you find that strange? I mean, 0-4, 9 of 10, quarterbacks regressed. I mean, there's a lot of issues going on.
I mean, that's a good question,
Oh, man.
It's a good question now.
It was a strange question a few days ago. Now, he assessed the locker room and said, it's a pretty good question.
I always thought he should.
No, I think he was saying it's a good question, asking me why I referred to that as a strange question?
Well, with all due respect, I never thought Doug Peterson was that brainy. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah. I mean, every decision he made in that 2017 run just worked. And you go back to the year before, some of the decisions were ridiculous.
That's why I say
but
some results happen when you least expect it, and the world is the planets are aligned, and it happens.
that team is. I went and looked this morning. The Jaguars. Not only are they 0-4, the 30th ranked offense in terms of points, the 30th ranked defense in terms of points. They are just bad, man. I don't know if he survives for that Week 8 matchup against the Eagles, right? Is it Week 8?
Yeah.
By the way, to get an answer here, 1987-88 Temple season, they had 2 neutral site games at the end of December against Mississippi and Southern. So
they played in the Sugar Bowl tournament. I covered the tournament. And what I remember is that Avery Johnson from that Southern team, they smoked Southern. What was the final score?
84-47.
84-47.
7-0 Temple Owls.
But Avery Johnson became a pro. He was their point guard, a left-handed point guard. Look at that.
Look at that
memory.
Mississippi,
huh? They took care of Mississippi and Southern in that tournament.
Yeah, I was 5 years old.
Back-to-back days.
Yeah, but the Owls. The Owls. That's when the Owls had a squad.
I wasn't even in kindergarten yet.
Got to get Frieswick to give us the story on those games. I know he'll remember those
Frieswick
stories.
will probably have every box score.
Probably.
Yeah, because he posts a lot of box scores on his Twitter. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Oh, he's got great Cheney stories.
Frieswick was my go-to guy. Well, you're trying to cover Temple University, right? And Macon is the star player who was off limits to the press. Howie Evans never had 3 words to say. Tim Perry was a goofball like McNabb. You could never get anything. Ramon Rivas spoke very little English. So there was one guy he would go to after every game. It was Frieswick.
And still today, the stories are great from him.
Yeah. That was such a great team.
When we get back, the San Diego Padres are doing something for this NLDS series. I want to get your position on whether or not the Phillies should do it.
Okay, sounds good. And we'll also take apart Howie Roseman and his drafting of Eagle defensive players. You don't want to miss Bill's analysis because he wants to throw as much dirt on Howie as possible to take the dirt off of his favorite NFL head coach of all time. The Mike Missanelli Show is on 97.5 The Fanatic. Philly boy.
What
I
the
want you to-
Padres are doing?
Well, let's mention that first, and then we're going to get into your defensive analysis for Howie Roseman. I know you've been itching to do this, but first of all, the San Diego Padres have unveiled a unique way to keep Dodger fans out of their stadium, correct?
Yeah, so
are Dodger fans, are they noted for travel?
I guess it's not that far, though, right?
They take over Petco pretty
do?
consistently.
Yeah,
they try
L.A.
at
to
least.
San Diego.
Okay.
So Tom Albert, who's in the back today, he sent this to me. So if you go on and try to buy tickets to the NLDS, the Padres have a geographic location block, and it says Petco Park is located in San Diego. Sales to this event will be restricted to residents of San Diego County, Southern Orange County, Western Arizona, Las Vegas, and the surrounding area. Residency will be based on a credit card billing address. So my question to you, Mike, if the Mets win tonight, should the Philadelphia Phillies put the same geographic
First of all,
location block?
There's flaws in that because you can then it brings back on-site scalping. So you can be a Dodger fan and go down there and
just buy it outside.
The San Diego fans that have bought tickets can sell it to you there. But should the Phillies do that? Here's what I'll say. As distasteful as it is that New York Mets fans can get tickets to games, can you really blame people for who really would like to make a couple bucks if they don't want to go to the game and they want to rather watch it on TV for selling their tickets at a premium? Is it their fault? Should they have this morality police hovering on them if they want to make like 4 times? Because these New York people come down, they want to pay. So if you're getting a $200 ticket and they want to pay you $1,000 a ticket, can you turn that down?
Here's my problem with it. And I think I've told you before, I'm season tickets to the Flyers.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the reason why fans want season tickets is not only to get to go and enjoy the regular season games, but you now get your tickets for the postseason. So if you can afford season tickets for the regular season, why are you trying to just cash in for the most important games that you've waited all year for?
Because if you get your tickets for the postseason, you can make your nut on what you pay for the regular season. That's why. By selling those playoff tickets, you can cover what you paid for all those games.
I understand. But my thought on it is, if you can afford the season tickets for the regular season.
There's a lot of people that can't afford it. They go out of their way to buy the tickets because they're fans. They're not like, well, we're not talking about, rich men who are only buying tickets.
But you're really going
to... Baseball brings in regular people.
But how often... I mean, look, we've been spoiled the last 3 years now that you get Red October. But what was it, 10 years? 10 years without postseason baseball?
You're looking at it from, like, the morality police. I'm looking at it like, I suppose you have a 10-game package. You get the right to buy a couple of postseason tickets. You're buying a 10-game package is what you can afford. So now somebody's going to pay you, I got 2 tickets. They're going to pay you $2,000 for them.
You can't put a price tag on experiences, Mike. That's the way I look at it. Is you don't know when you're going to be able to experience something like that.
But see, you're talking now about a potential 21 games. Or, excuse me, 10 plus.
Yeah, because the Phillies would have 3 in the NLDS, potentially 4 in the NLCS at 7. Yeah, 11 games.
Right. So, all right. So that's money to people. That's money to people. You can't, like, look at it like, okay, they're playing the Mets, and I'm going to allow these Mets fans to come down here. I'm looking at it like, I could really use this money. My daughter needs braces or whatever, whatever the case may be.
I understand the way you're saying it, but
standpoint from a man who made $10 million selling your law firm.
Yeah, I wish. I wish. No, I'd look at it differently, though. It's like, I get it. If you need money, get it somehow. Get it another way. If you're a Phillies fan and you've had season tickets and you get now the luxury of being given these playoff tickets that you have to pay for at face value, go to the game. It's
going to work. The memory's going to put the gas in there. You know what I'm saying?
Ray
Cheer
has
them-
an opinion on
cheer
it.
them to victory against the Mets in the NLDS, and the NLCS tickets will be even better to sell because they'll be even more expensive to get into.
There you go. Look, I
Anyone
am
but the Mets, man.
I from someone who, and Mike, you've been to a lot of events. I was lucky enough. I was there in 08 when they won the World Series. I was in Minnesota when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. I would not have sold those experiences for any amount of money. I mean, it is an unbelievable experience.
Because you could have taken that experience over to cash. There are a lot of people that can't.
Yeah, but it's not like
you're like blowing past them here.
Yeah, but here's the way I look at it. When you bought your season tickets, it wasn't like you were banking on, I need the money I'm going to make off the postseason tickets.
But then you don't know what the money's going to be. And then all of a sudden you see, oh my God, look what the price of these tickets are going for. Well, I'd rather watch it on TV and sell it.
I just hope Philly fans don't do it.
I think
Like, everybody should do what they want.
A little spoiled. A little bit spoiled. 610-63. We got a lot of people want to talk about this now. Listen, the right thing. Don't sell it to damn Mets fans. I get that. I also get the other side. People say to me, I could really use that money. Mike Missanelli Show, 97.5 The Fanatic. Time, ladies and gentlemen, for DB or Not. Do this every Thursday at this time, where we go into the realm of everyday life to come up with a determination as to whether this behavior is acceptable or it makes you a DB. So today I think it's an easy call. Wawa. Waiting for a sandwich. Having a cell phone conversation. DB or not. This goes for anywhere. This goes like into the grocery stores. You're walking down an aisle, waiting in line for something, whatever it is.
Now, something we were talking about earlier in the show was your pedicures. The last time I had one, the woman next to me, full cell phone conversation, sitting in the chair while she's getting her pedi. And I'm sitting there like, I'm trying to relax. I got to listen to this whole conversation. She was having issues with her daughter or something. I heard everything. I'm going DB unless it's a very important phone call.
If it's a very important phone call, get your ass out of the store.
Yes, I guess you're right.
Go into the car.
But there are people who are very ignorant when it comes to their cell phone use. Very ignorant. But I'll go DB. In Wawa, waiting for a sandwich. He probably had to request a no-egg sandwich behind the counter. I'm going DB, Ray. What about you?
I'm going no DB.
Oh,
Ray.
What? Oh, you got to be kidding me.
I'm a little nosy, I'll be honest. I kind of enjoy it.
This is the clearest DB situation we could possibly have. There's nobody that likes that.
I kind of do. I like to know what's going on with the people.
You like to know what's going on. You like eavesdropping on the conversation?
A little bit. If you're having it in public, that makes it public domain. I'm listening
my God,
now.
I can't think of anything that's more rude. What do you people think you are?
There is something that's more rude. When they're doing the conversation on speakerphone at the same time.
Now, that would be the step over the line.
Now, that happens.
Oh, okay. So that's step over the line. But hearing them blab into the phone is not.
No, not really.
Oh, my God. I'll bet you if you took a survey of 100 people, 98 would say that it's a total DB. You being the one left, then we probably go find somebody out there in the hallway.
Yeah, that's fine. Me and that other person will be best friends. We'll go listen to people's conversations together.
Oh, my God.
It's great.
This has got to light up a text board. Come on now.
Now, I wonder, Mike, if the different generations feel differently. Because Ray's younger, so to him, no big deal.
No big deal. I'll be, you know how I don't go to a cashier anymore in a grocery store. I don't care how many items I have.
Yeah, I'm always a self-checkout.
Although that could be a DB move, too, if you have a lot of items. However, I don't have a lot of items because I go often. And so I'm in line to get into my self thing, my cashier thing. And there's a man, a woman, they're having a conversation about work. It's like, why? Put it off. Like when you go outside, it's going to be 3 seconds. You're going to check your stuff and get out there, then do the call. Is it that urgent?
Yeah, this is something we agree on. I'm with Mike on this, Raymond.
So, to be clear here, we're talking about the person waiting for the sandwich. So you're standing there waiting.
Yes.
You're not doing anything. You're not in checkout line. And also, for me, AirPods are always, so I'm always hands-free. I'm always hands-free with it because that'll make me able to do whatever I'm doing.
The AirPods throw me off, though, because then I hear them talking, and I think maybe they said something to me. I'm like, oh, excuse me?
It's the same thing. It's the same thing, whether you have the AirPods or not.
What I'm saying is you're not holding up anyone's day. You're just talking around them. I want to be clear on that.
It's the rudeness of the talk that I'm focused on here. There's no reason why you have to talk if you're in that kind of a situation, that you can't wait for 3 minutes.
No, I feel like you need to talk. You need to get the conversation out. You know what? If I'm on the phone, I'm on the phone.
Oh, my God. All right, well, to each his own. I thought that was a pretty clear DB or not. All right, that's DB or not for today, and I know that's going to have a lot of action on the text board. It's going to Spanky and Overbrook. What's up, Spank? How was the honeymoon?
Oh, no, the honeymoon is, we leave on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Did you get the picture, Mike? I just sent you some more.
I didn't get the picture. You said
Mike Miss at bbgi.com.
Yeah,
right?
Mike Miss at bbgi.com. But again, this could go into outer space for all I know. They've been unable to even put me into the system. So
Yeah,
I'll keep
they may
checking.
block. They may block external attachments. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll have to check it for you, Spanky. But
I just sent you 6 pictures, Mike. We looked beautiful, man. I was razor sharp. I was razor
nice.
sharp.
I expected you to be razor sharp. You're a sharp guy.
Yeah. So listen, I wanted y'all funny because we on our way to get pedicures and manicures right down the street from y'all.
All right, let me ask you a question. What do you tip?
What I tip?
Yeah. What's a mani pedi cost you?
About altogether about $45. I usually give them 10.
You give him 10.
Yeah,
I got the hairy eyeball when I gave him 10. I tipped 10 on a $40 bill, and she goes, for both? And I'm going, what? What? I need to duke a 10 for each person that worked on me?
Yeah, no, because it's always the same. It's always the same chick, so I give them 10.
Okay, all right.
Mike, I'm sitting here, right, and I haven't talked to y'all since the Tampa game. And Mike, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be surprised if Sirianni lasts the whole season, man. And honestly speaking, too, I'm getting sick of Jalen. I ain't impressed no more, Mike. I don't know if it's him and the coach not getting along, but what I'm starting to see from this team, what I saw in that Tampa game was horrible, man. I seen dudes not busting. I saw what's the other guy? Jordan Davis, he was horrible. I saw him not giving half effort. Yeah. Some tackling was bad, and I just think overall, man, these cats just don't like this dude. But it's stemming from Jalen, and if he the one that's bringing it down, we got a problem, man. We got a big problem. And I'm watching all these shows like Get Up and First Take, and I know I shouldn't have did it, but it's just getting me more and more angry. It's starting to seem like we are the laughingstock of the NFL because we got a...
Yeah, no, you're right. Nationally, everybody's hammering the Eagles.
Yeah, man, it's horrible, man. It's horrible. It's horrible. And I don't know, man. I tell you one thing. I'm looking at the schedule that they got right now, and them games should be, I'm not going to call them cake because I don't know what you're going to get from our squad. But I tell you one thing, if they don't win at least half of those, this dude got to go.
Oh, they got to do more than half. They got to go 3-1 over the next 4, Spanky. Listen, this run, if they lose to a bad team, oh, my God. Yeah, this run of 4, if they lose one to a bad team, this town could explode.
The town may explode. But I still don't see Laurie firing a coach that early into a season.
I don't think it's going to happen either. My niece just texted me. If they lose to Cleveland, Sirianni get fired.
Yeah, I got asked. My dad asked me the same thing this morning.
No, I don't think he's getting fired. I don't think he's getting fired. I think they'll ride this whole season out.
I agree with you. The only chance would be maybe with like a game left if they're completely out of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think they would fire him. Like you said, 2-2 over the next 4. That means they're 4-4.
I agree. All right, let's get to the text board. Uncle Frank, first of all, on Bill hitting fastballs. He texted a while ago. What did Uncle Frank say about Bill hitting fastballs?
Yeah, Uncle Frank said that if the Big P struck out on 3 straight 90-mile-per-hour fastballs, Bill really thinks he can hit a 95-mile-per-hour. 95-mile-per-hour.
Ryan Howard.
No. Here's the difference,
Howard
though.
Struck out on 89-mile-an-hour fastballs.
Yeah, but here's the difference.
What?
Ryan Howard didn't know they were coming. Like, if I get up there and you gave me 10 fastballs, I think after like the first few, I would be able to know, all right, I got to start my swing
What
now.
do you mean he didn't know it was coming? He certainly would have expected a fastball from a guy from the Savannah Bananas.
If you gave me 10 opportunities, I think I could make contact
You're
once.
Insane.
Contact.
You're insane.
Violation is the end result there from Uncle Frank. He just wanted you to know that.
By the way, why do we
trying
call
to sift through
so
his texts
disrespectful to a baseball player?
There's something I've been wondering about Uncle Frank. Why do we call him Uncle Frank?
He calls himself Uncle Frank.
Yeah, he's Uncle Frank.
He calls himself Uncle Frank. He's been a caller. He used to be a caller with Anthony's show for.
Got it. So he's always been Uncle Frank.
Yes.
All right. You're wrong, Uncle Frank. I could hit the ball. Just telling you.
He's an elderly Italian man. You know, everybody has an Uncle Frank in their Italian family.
Nice paisan.
Right? Exactly. All right, we have some DB or not text on the cell phone convo while you're waiting in line for something.
All right, we got very simply, unnamed texter, DB for sure. Going up a little bit further, even worse is FaceTime while in public.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that a lot.
Aaron from Mount Laurel, total DB. Nobody wants to hear those conversations at 90,000 decibels.
Except Ray. Ray would like to hear them.
Yeah, Ray wants to hear.
Very specifically from Scott in Reading. I guarantee Ray is one of those DBs that talks on his phone in public, and probably most of his generation thinks it's fine. I wonder if they have any clue what DB most people think they are.
See, Ray. Ray is listening for this conversation. What, dude? She did what? That's why Ray.
Yeah, Ray wants it.
He did what to you? I'm so sorry. Hi, I'm Ray. Nice to meet you.
It's a guy talking to his friend. What? She did what?
Oh, no. I'm waiting for the girl to be like, I'm so done with him. Are you done with him? Hi, I'm Ray. Nice to meet you.
Oh, you
There's a bar
deserve
around the corner.
I don't know you, honey, but you deserve a lot better.
So much better. What is that, a Wawa hoagie? I'll cover that for you.
No egg on that sandwich?
Oh, it's Hoagie Fest. It's only going to cost me $6. I got it.
$6 classic right now.
Mark in Philly. Mark, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. What's up, Mark?
Hey, guys. Great show as always, and great to have you back, Mikey.
Thanks, Mark.
So as far as selling the tickets, so I have season tickets to all 4 major teams. Had them since the 70s.
It's a lot of Scott Ohl, Mark.
Pardon me?
It's a lot of Scott Ohl. Season tickets to all 4.
I'm a big sports fan. I'm a Johnny Clark, a longtime friend for 35 years. But so I go to a lot of the games. I go to like 50 Phillies games a year. I have seats in behind the visitors' dugout and behind the home dugout. And I sell the visitors' dugout games most of the time, and especially when the Mets fans come down. I'll probably get $4,000 for the 4 seats, and so I'm going to sell them on
$4,000 for the 4 seats. See what I mean?
Yeah.
$4,000 is nice Scott Ohl.
But Mark, you have season tickets to all 4 because
Yes,
you love the Philly sports teams, right?
I like the sports teams. I like to be able to take friends, family, my grandkids, but can't go to every game. And then when there's, home runs, like, I have a connection to get me Taylor Swift tickets. I had 8 seats. Well, for me to take 4 of them and go and sell the other 4, I just sold all 8 because it was just
too lucrative.
$20,000 for 8 seats.
So do you have the season? Do you have the season tickets because you look at it more of a business for yourself, or do you have them because you enjoy it?
Yeah, I have them because one, sometimes I need the 8 seats or the 10 seats because I have 2 Hall of Fames as well. Sometimes I need them all, and sometimes I don't. And when the Mets come in or the Yankees,
I don't think you're the average fan though, Mark. I think Mark's like a client guy. Like he takes clients and stuff. Like that's. So it's different than somebody who just has a couple of tickets. Like I say, I can't put my morality like you have to be loyal to your team if you can make money. This is like people say, well, how could you bet against the Eagles or how do you bet against the Phillies in a particular game? Isn't that the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, but look. I don't ever bet against the Eagles or the Phillies. If I think that they're not going to win the game, I won't put money on it.
I have absolutely no problem.
Yeah, because I prefer if our sports teams are winning.
Oh, of course, but it's not going to be the end of the world. They lose a game, and you cash the bet.
Yeah, but I don't want to be conflicted. Like, if I'm watching the game, I'd rather the Eagles win, and I don't want to be in the back of my pocket. Oh, well, at least I made the $100.
You're the guy that doesn't draft a Cowboy, a Giant.
Nah, I got CeeDee Lamb on my fantasy team.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
The wall's starting to fall there.
I don't know. Look, if you absolutely are desperate for the money and you can make money off of selling your tickets, who am I to tell you not to do it? But if you're someone...
I think you just told people not to do it before the last break.
Because what I'm saying is if you desperately needed the money. But if you're looking at it where it's just like, oh, look, I can make a G.
What is your definition of desperately needing the money? Everybody needs the money. Everybody. There's not one person that doesn't need the money.
But here's why I don't necessarily agree.
Okay, go ahead.
If you have the disposable income to buy season tickets to any of the 4 major sports teams in this city, then you should not be so desperately in need of the money that you have to sell the playoff tickets.
It's not that you're desperately in need of it. It's that it's pretty nice to get the return. It's not like desperate. It's like everybody could use an extra $4,000. Seriously, what are we talking about? Even if it's for groceries,
anybody could use
gasoline. I mean, of course.
I just think it's at what point though is it about the experience and not just about the cash?
You've had the experience. You've been through some great moments, right? There you go. I've been through that. I've seen that. So today I'm going to make a little money.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's go to Jay in Robbinsville. Jay, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Jay.
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
What's up, Jay?
Hey, welcome back, by the way.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, no problem. If you don't mind, let's make just 2 quick points, maybe hopefully from the fan perspective and hopefully from the player
Absolutely. Go ahead.
If you have this is my opinion. If you have season tickets and you've been through it the whole year, I just can't fathom not going to a playoff game. And to me, it's almost sounding like that the fans almost saying they're afraid of who may play. This team was built for October, if you ask me.
Well,
now, if you're looking at it from the players'
wait a minute. Selling the tickets means you're afraid?
No, I mean, what would you say it is? I mean, I'm saying you went through every game through through the season. You sat through some good ones, sat through some bad ones. But the point is, you're a season ticket holder.
Yeah.
Now you're in Red October in the playoffs.
Okay, but suppose you look at it like this. I think they're going to win that first series, so I can sell these tickets, and I'll still go see the Dodgers.
But you're giving up that experience?
No, you're giving up the first round experience. You're then
But you're also giving up now. That thank you, Mike. I appreciate that. That leads me into the players' perspective as far as they did all this to get home field. Now you're saying through the first round, even if you win it, you're still going to have a 60-40 split or a 70-30. I know you want that place rocking. Like that's what people.
So you owe it to the
Spectrum Flyers.
You owe it to the players. You owe it to the players.
You almost in a way, don't you? I mean, they busted.
I don't know what did they. They busted their ass.
Really? Did they not play all year
for $30 million? They busted their ass.
But from a fan's perspective, they are playing to get the home field.
Yeah, I
the
get
home
it.
field matters if the fans are there to support it, right?
I get you. There's going to be enough fans there to support him, though. It's not like.
But if it's 70-30 though, or even like 65-35, even 80-20. Is that really Red October? Is that what you think of, like Philly? I mean, I'm talking like what Kruk, the video he released.
No, you raised some good points, Jay, and I can't really counter like the responsibility. Yeah, of course, you want to make that Red October. I get it, but I can't sit here and say, you know what, that's really stupid of you to sell your tickets for $4,000 for a pair of tickets because the Mets fans will pay for that because then you're being disloyal to your team. I can't go that far. I don't know what people want to do with that money. If they like the money, then I can't sit here and say you're wrong.
It's a little disloyal. Look, the thing is when we look at it, and I just said this in the YouTube chat, if you can afford season tickets, then you're not in desperate need of cash to sell your playoff tickets.
But we're not talking about desperate need. It's like you can put that money that you reap a tremendous profit from. You put it towards something else that maybe you wouldn't have thought to put towards. A mortgage payment. I don't know. Insurance.
Yeah, so you're putting money towards insurance instead of experiencing Red October. I
got two of my really good friends have a house in Augusta. Every Masters, they get out of Dodge. Now, Masters is the marquee event for that city.
Yeah, it's like the Super Bowl.
They get out of Dodge and rent their house.
Oh, they make a ton.
They get $30,000 for the week.
Yeah, they make a ton.
Is that wrong? Should they support their town, support the Masters?
No, that's different.
Oh, it's different.
It's different. You can't compare it.
Why not?
Because the Masters is an event that's coming to town, similar to a Super Bowl coming to town.
Not your hometown team.
It's not your hometown team.
Okay.
And it's not a team that you've invested in saying, I'm going to have season tickets because I love the Phillies. I'm going to have season tickets. And then when the time comes where it's the biggest game of the season you've had season tickets for, it's like, you know what? I'm going to make it $1,000. To me, it just doesn't correlate in my mind. Now, if you desperately needed the money, guess what? Don't buy season tickets. If you needed the money so badly, don't buy season tickets.
It's not as simple as that. It's like somebody presents you with a pot of gold that you didn't expect, and that pot of gold can go towards something else. 610-632-0975. Back after this. team was not prepared for the season. They're suffering all kinds of those little blemishes that a CEO in a tight system would not permit.
I'm going to play devil's advocate.
Of course you are.
Because you're saying they're not prepared for this season. Their first game of the year was on a Friday night in Brazil against the Green Bay Packers. And the season starts with Jalen Hurts committing 2 turnovers in the first quarter, and yet somehow the CEO, Nick Sirianni, and the Philadelphia Eagles find a way to win that football game. So, I mean, you're saying they're not ready. Come on.
They won that game by the skin of their keister.
Mike and Bill have been pleading their cases.
What are you seeing that would indicate that this head coach has control of this team?
Nick Sirianni should be held accountable. I've said this all week. But if I am ranking who I'm more concerned about in this whole situation, Jalen Hurts' turnovers and the defensive personnel. Because I don't care what Nick Sirianni does, what Vic Fangio does. If Jalen Hurts won't stop turning the football over and the defensive personnel stinks like it did last year, it's not going to matter who your CEO head coach is.
The Mike Missanelli Show Holding Court is brought to you by Grunko Law, your law firm when you need help because of an injury. We treat every case like it's Dallas Week. Pray for peace, prepare for trial. Now back to Mike Missanelli on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it's the 1 o'clock hour of the Mike Missanelli Show. Thanks for hanging with us all day. The 1 o'clock hour is brought to you by Ferguson HVAC, Lyon Conklin, Tension HVAC Contractors for equipment, parts, supplies for every heating and cooling job. Just visit one of Ferguson's current locations in Ben Salem, King of Prussia, Pennsauken, or Westchester. I thought we would start this hour with an analysis because Bill it really has been consistent in identifying Howie Roseman as the major problem here. I've actually seen a couple of questions about that on the X where people go, Howie's not getting much of a blame. Well, right here he has, because Bill has been hammering him about the lack of defensive selections that have helped this team. Now, Bill, you're going to do a kind of a player analysis here through the eyes of Howie Roseman. So go right ahead.
Yeah, so we could start with the draft picks because you look at the NFL being a salary cap league. You need players that are still on their affordable 4-year, sometimes 5 if you're drafted in the first round, rookie contracts. Because you can't pay everybody. You can't have stars at every position unless you've drafted them. So I went back and looked. We can go all the way back to 2020. That's 5 drafts. Howie Roseman has taken 22 defensive players. I'm going to read the names of these players, Mike, and just get your reaction. Let's go to 2020. Here's the 4 players that Howie Roseman drafted on the defensive side of the football. Davion Taylor, Kevon Wallace, Sean Bradley, and Casey Toohill. Do you know what all 4 of them have in common, Mike?
They're no longer in football.
Well, none of them are on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay. Casey Toohill.
Casey Toohill actually playing for the Buffalo Bills.
He is?
I think he had a fumble recovery.
Yeah, I think he's on the Bills.
Sack.
Davion Taylor. Well, he went on a mission. He missed playing football for a year and a half, but we think he's got potential.
Yeah, Toohill's on the Bills. Sean Bradley, Rancocas Valley kid. He's not playing.
Texans practice squad.
Yeah, he's on the practice squad. Kevon Wallace, what's he up to?
Right? Sean Bradley, Temple
That's
made.
right. Temple made, Temple proud.
All right, so that's your 2020 draft picks. Let's go to 2021. Patrick Johnson, Jacoby Stevens, Teron Jackson, Marlon Tupelotu, Zach McPherson, and Milton Williams. 1 for 6. Only Milton Williams is still on the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's go to 2022. First-round draft pick, Jordan Davis. Third round, Nakobe Dean. 6th round, Kyron Johnson. Well, Johnson's not on the Eagles anymore. How you feel about Jordan Davis and Nakobe Dean?
Nakobe, they got guilted into selecting Nakobe Dean. Because and they do this a lot, where they go, "Wow, that's great value. Look, everybody passed on Nakobe Dean. We're going to take him here." They do that a lot.
Yeah, and
Howie does that a lot.
Howie does it, and they came into last year and now this season with all their hopes at linebacker on Nakobe Dean. I'm still not seeing it. Well, let's go to last year's draft. Jalen Carter. Give him that one. Although I think Jalen Carter needs to be motivated. We talked about it yesterday. He's not consistent enough. Let's look at the other draft picks. Nolan Smith, first-round draft pick. I said it in the summertime, and I got killed a little bit on X and Instagram for it. I said Nolan Smith's going to be a bigger bust than Marcus Smith.
You remember when he got up there bragging about how he selects those SEC players?
Yeah, not really working out. Then you have Sidney Brown.
And everybody was in agreement. He's so savvy. He gets some guys from the SEC. Well, you got to maybe look deeper than the conference.
Well, and I've had people say to me, oh, well, when he made those selections, everybody thought they were good selections. But we're not the GM of the Eagles.
No, because we watch TV, and they're on TV every week. That's why we thought they were good selections.
Yeah. But it's also not up to us to identify. It's not our full-time job to be identifying talent for the Philadelphia Eagles. That's Howie Roseman's job.
Correct.
So you got Nolan Smith, who I think is going to be a bust. Sidney Brown, who I like, who's hopefully coming back from an ACL tear, but you don't know. Keely Ringo, I also like him, but you just don't know. Maro Ajomo had some moments but doesn't play often. And then you look at this year's draft, looks like Quinyon Mitchell, great pick. But you still don't know about Cooper DeJean, Jalix Hunt, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. So not including this rookie class because you really don't know. You look at the 4 drafts prior to this, who do you feel good about? Jalen Carter and only Jalen Carter?
That's very well stated, Bill. And Nick Sirianni should be fired. No, I'm just kidding.
Hold on. It gets worse.
No, great analysis.
Well, and it gets worse.
What?
Because then let's say, all right, well, maybe he can't draft, but he certainly knows how to sign free agents. Last year, these were the defensive free agents signed. Greedy Williams, Justin Evans, Terrell Edmonds, Nick Morrow, Contavious Street, Zach Cunningham, Miles Jack, Josiah Scott, Shaq Leonard.
PU
is right. This offseason, Bryce Huff, Devin White, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Zach Bond, if you want to give him credit. I think that was Fangio. So he can't draft defensive talent. He's not identifying free agent defensive talent. And when they finally get a good defensive player, TJ Edwards, they let him walk. Marcus Epps, they let him walk. Hassan Reddick, they trade him. And you look at the defense and where they've ranked for 2 straight seasons, but yeah, it's Sirianni's fault.
Maybe the first. Well, so now you went too far. But this could be the first time that I don't have a retort to you because that was very well done.
Thank you, Michael.
There you go.
Ray, you got anything
Except
for
you
me?
had to throw in that, but it's Sirianni's fault.
Well, no, I'm just.
You got to get.
It's because
that's the tagline.
Yes,
makes it so difficult to ever be fully on your side. If you could just for a second take the Sirianni thing and throw it out the window and criticize someone in a vacuum, it'd be so much easier to ever just say, you know what, Bill? Good point.
You're right. And people on YouTube are reminding me he also traded for Kevin Byard last year. That didn't work out, Howie Roseman. And I throw in the Sirianni thing. I'm being a little bit facetious with it.
So much good.
Sirianni deserves to be blamed for a lot. Trust me, he does. He deserves to be blamed for a lot. But I don't want Howie Roseman getting a pass because people just hate Sirianni so much. You look at the defensive talent, that is on your general manager.
All right, let's go back to the phones. I can't refute anything you just said. Nick in Texas. What's up, Nick?
Hey, Mike. How you doing, man?
What's up, Nick?
Hey, well, first of all, I got a few things to say, but whoever you, Ray, or whoever does like the sound bites of Sirianni, you guys kill me every single time. There's so much good. I almost
that's Ray. That's Ray on the trigger.
Yeah, Ray's crushing that.
Ray, I swear, dude, that is so funny, man. You guys kill me with that.
We all fertilize.
But speaking of Sirianni, man, I think, look, whatever happens after this bye week. This to me, and I spoke about this with my dad the other day, this is really his last chance, man. I mean, I can't see if you don't start off, which you're supposed to start off to a good start this year, but, you got 4 games, you should win 3 of those next 4 games. And I think his fate comes down to how he picks his team up during this bye week. And, we talk about, Jalen Hurts, he's distant on Sirianni, and you don't respect him. And I get it. How can you really respect this guy when after that collapse last year, he's dropped back in with less power? And, the whole clubhouse and the whole locker room takes this guy as a joke. I don't know.
And think about what happens now, Nick. Now, if he doesn't survive at the end of the season and they bring in a new coaching staff, now all the effort they put into those coordinators, what are they going to do? They're going to bring a new guy in and say, you have to work with the guy, Callan and Moore and Fangio? Like they're almost in a no-win situation.
You got a clean house.
You're right. So all this fuss and bringing him back and trying to rehab him with coordinators that they handpicked could all go for naught.
Yeah. I mean, I think Hurts, obviously, it's been very, very clear that he's very indifferent with Mr. Clown Boy. And I think at that point, man, he just has to go out and ball, man. Like, I can't imagine with these weapons he has with Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar, if they had the weapons he has, the offensive line he's got, oh my God, they'd be. But like, he's not getting it done. He's not providing. He's been given so much grace.
He just,
you know what I mean?
Bill, he just called him Mr. Clown Boy.
I'm funny, how?
Good boy.
Funny like I'm a clown.
A new low. Now he's Mr. Clown Boy.
I'm the dumbest coach in the world.
I can't take it anymore. I hate that I get called Bill Sirianni.
Hell yeah.
My point is, you can't be a clown and win as many games as the Philadelphia Eagles have won under Nick Sirianni. He can't be a clown. Look, you may say he's not doing a great job right now. And
what Chip Kelly do his first year? Did he have
I'm not doing a good
Chip
enough
Kelly
job.
have 2 10-win seasons? Is he a clown?
Well, Chip Kelly's...
He's a clown.
He's more than just a clown.
He won 10 games twice, didn't he?
He's more than just a clown.
Okay, but my point is...
Chip Kelly was a guy who was intimidated by anyone who had a personality.
Won 10 games twice.
Did he win it twice?
Yeah. 10-6, 10-6.
Yeah.
Just missed the postseason the second time.
Uh-huh. Clown Boy. 610-632-0975. Back after this. I know we have a lot of people on hold want to talk about the selling tickets. It's like a baseball hour all of a sudden, even though we just
killed Howie.
Well, you did.
This is our best return song, by the way. What is this, Ray?
Move Your Body. Expansions.
It's a Mike soundtrack song that I gave her.
It is, and I love playing it as much as I can.
I love it too.
Yeah. It's like EDM.
Yeah, we got to get a little party going on in here.
I gotta get this story out there because I teased it a little earlier. Here's the headline. It comes from the New York Post. Will Smith's fart on Men in Black on Men in Black set led to 3-hour cast crew evacuation, director reveals. As it turns out, Will Smith expelled gas so badly on the set of Men in Black that he forced the cast and crew to evacuate for 3 hours, director Barry Sonnenfeld revealed.
3 hours?
Yeah, the gaseous anecdote was on the latest episode of Kelly Ripa's podcast, where he said we had to put him and Tommy Lee in this this thing that turns upside down to simulate it's a hypercar, and they're going to go through the Midtown Tunnel upside down. So we had to bring it to the ladder on wheels, and you get on like you would get on the airplanes from the tarmac, and we get them up there, and we put them in the thing, and we turn it upside down, and we're ready to shoot. I hear Will Smith go, "Oh, Jesus. So sorry, Tommy." And so it was so bad that Tommy Lee Jones had to escape the capsule, but it lingered. It lingered. And so Sonnenfeld's telling the story. He goes, "What happened was Will Smith is just a farter. It's just
he's a lovely guy, but a farter.
It's just some people are, and you really don't know what to be inside a very small, hermetically sealed space with a Will Smith fart." Jesus, how do you tell that story?
I don't know. I'm glad you're not a farter though, because this is a pretty sealed off studio.
I have couth.
You do have couth.
I'm a couth man. Come on.
So I've been in here before, and people have.
I've never even done that in front of a woman.
What, farted?
Yes.
Never?
Never.
Right.
I have never done that in front of. And I was married for 9 years. I never did it.
All right. So this just reminded me of something.
Go ahead.
Me and my wife had just started dating, maybe a couple months in. We decided to take a trip to Mexico. And we stay at this resort. There were no doors on where the toilet was. And the toilet was like right within viewing distance of everywhere else in the room, including the bed.
Well,
how would you handle
it? You're a married couple. I assume it didn't bother you. But
we weren't married.
Oh, you weren't?
We had just started dating 2 months earlier.
So what'd you do? Well, there's an easy answer to that, because this is what I always do.
You know what I do?
If I'm on a trip with a lady, I will not use the toilet for the second part.
I went to the lobby.
I use the lobby.
So that's exactly what I did.
I have never done in a hotel room when I'm with somebody.
But unfortunately, that's what I did. But one of the nights there, we went to the hibachi at the all-inclusive resort. Whatever oil they used in this thing. I woke up around 4:30 in the morning, and I had to go. I had to run out of that hotel room because the lobby.
Oh, you went downstairs,
but it wasn't downstairs because it was like different buildings. But
so you went out of the room.
I had to go out of the room. I had to run to the lobby.
You did go out of the room.
I had to.
Okay,
but
there are a lot of people.
Thankfully, I made
Ray is looking at us incredulous. Like there's no way he would go out of the room.
Ray, if you had just known a girl for 2 months. And you liked her. I mean, obviously, I married her, so I really liked her.
Yeah.
And you had a hotel room that had no door on the toilet. How are you handling that?
So was there no review of the resort before?
Place had 5 stars. It was this wonderful resort. My cousin even stayed there.
Doors.
Told me it was great. No doors on the bathroom.
Never a check on what the rooms might look like.
I didn't think you had to look to see if the bathroom had doors.
No, that's probably a violation, but it's probably an open air type of room. But the fact that you went outside the room is very respectful. So you have couth as well, right? Would you have couth?
No. No.
I'm telling you, it's awkward.
He's Temple made.
You pay for the room. The room comes with the bathroom.
Yeah, but right, come on.
I got to show you pictures.
You want to subject the lady to the funk?
If it's 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah, you still can't.
You can't do it.
Come on.
You can't do it. Not 2
That's
months
why they
into a
got
relationship.
fans.
So what are you going to do? You come back and you climb back in bed. You're going to get don't go in there. Is that what you're doing?
I'm assuming she's asleep.
Oh, she's asleep, so it's going to just evaporate before. Suppose she has to.
You got a fan.
About 5 minutes later, she gets up.
You got a
what were you
fan.
going to do? Are you going to hold her ankle? Say, don't do it.
No. This is a fact of life. Everyone does it.
Yeah, but come on.
No.
It's couth.
Mike, my football college locker room didn't have doors on the stalls either, which was really strange.
It's like you're in the military.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Larry and Ventnor. Larry, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Larry. Yo, Larry.
Larry. The bartender.
Hello, Larry.
46 Steakhouse.
Yes. What's up, Larry?
Good to see you. Good to hear. Bill, great job with the analysis.
Thanks, man.
Go ahead, Larry. You're on, buddy. You go. What's going on with that? I'll put him on hold. I don't know what's going on.
I don't know what's going on with
Got
Larry
a Weave on a cell. Weave, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Weave.
What up, man?
What's going on, Weave?
Y'all know I'm already here and always here. I like the way you just pick me up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yo, and earlier when that guy called in, he said, you know, a lot of that might not be Jalen Hurts' fault. I mean, y'all wasn't really saying too much about that.
Well, listen, I acknowledge it was a tough for him last week without two wide receivers like that. It doesn't open the field. I would have had a game plan that would have been tailored around missing those two guys and doing something else. But instead, the defense let him down, and they abandoned it a little bit. They couldn't run the ball anymore, and he wasn't going to throw to those two guys, Paris Campbell, Jahan Dotson. What are you going to do?
I mean, maybe, like you just said, maybe they didn't have a game plan.
Yeah, but early in the game, did you see him miss targets by like 3 feet? He threw short patterns over guys' heads. He wasn't sharp. He threw the one ball that may have been a touchdown to Saquon. He threw it out of bounds.
I'm going to give you credit on that because, you know what? If you go all the way back in Jalen Hurts' career, you go all the way back to Alabama, or all the way back to the other team he played, it seems like he had the same problem with Alabama. And, you know, it could be about his feet. I don't know.
Well, he's in pro football now, brother. He's a pro. I mean, he's had several years in the NFL now. Those fundamental things should not happen. Holding on to the ball too long, throwing it wrongly, but not seeing a safety, missing your guy down the sidelines, throwing in a little floater pass in the flat and missing them. Shouldn't happen. 610-632-0975. Back after this. We have some more text, believe it or not, text board, DB or not. We gave you another food for thought, although it's probably the wrong way to classify the bathroom situation. but we have some text on DB or not, right? What do you got?
Yeah, we got JT and Taconi checking in. As long as the conversation is appropriate for a public setting, then I'm good either way. Or if maybe the person is loud and obnoxious, but the general idea of it being your phone is kind of dumb to me.
Wait, what's dumb to the texter?
General idea of being on the phone in public.
Yeah, it's not. It's uncouth.
It is.
I like the word couth.
But people like Ray, who don't have a problem with it, they don't even remember an existence where cell phones didn't exist. Right? Your entire life, cell phones have been around, as far as you remember.
I guess, yeah. I mean, we were on the phone with my dad the night they won in 08, and it was BlackBerry, so yeah, I guess.
BlackBerry.
Yeah.
I had one of those, man. I was a lawyer, just got my BlackBerry.
Oh, you must have been so obnoxious.
I thought it was great, man.
A lawyer with a BlackBerry. There's nothing more obnoxious.
You know what we used to call those? Crackberries.
Yeah, I know.
They were addicting, man. You got to watch that documentary about the BlackBerries.
About crackberries?
It's a movie. It's like a docudrama or whatever.
What's it called? Crackberry?
Is it called BlackBerry?
It's your
Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Gus felt a little bit stronger about it while you figured that out. Major DB move, talking on your stupid phone in public.
See that, Larry? 99 of 100. They're going to say.
No, 98. 98. We still got some people that.
All right.
Keith, I see both ways. No DB. So that was close enough.
All right.
Maybe getting some support.
And yes, the movie is called BlackBerry. It came out last year. It's very good.
Well, I can't wait to put that on my list.
Well, it's about how the CEO of BlackBerry didn't want to adjust.
I can't wait.
He thought that the iPhone wasn't going to work, that people weren't going to accept it because it didn't have a keyboard.
Sounds thrilling.
I'm telling you, it's a good movie.
I can't wait to sit down and watch BlackBerry.
You're just hating.
All right, let's go back to the phones. Harvey in Mount Airy. What's up, Harv?
Mike, Phil, nice show.
What's up, Harvey?
Hey, look, you guys got some funny views. But on you and Bill's point of view about selling the tickets, I kind of agree with both of you because, like Bill said, if you have enough money to get season tickets, I mean, you're pretty much set unless the unexpected happens. But I can see your view, Mike, too, because if I get a chance to make a couple extra dollars, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for it.
Like, this is, who wouldn't be able to use extra money like that?
I could see that.
Really, I mean, you can put it to such good use. Now, again, season ticket holders are one thing. Partial packages are another thing. You get a partial package, you get 20 games, and they give you an option to get playoff tickets. Well, you want to sell those? I mean, you can make whatever you pay for the 20 games.
When you say good use, Mike, if to me that's disposable income. It's not money that you are relying on. So good use. I mean, wouldn't you use that type of money that you weren't expecting?
It's not disposable income if you have a hard time paying insurance bills and mortgages.
But if you have a hard time,
but people do that all the time. You're thinking Eagle tickets are financially well off enough to buy those tickets?
No, they probably sacrifice.
That's what I'm saying. It's important to them, so they will make that a priority. But another thing, they shirk another thing.
Yes, but if you're not banking or relying on making all that money from your playoff tickets. So to me, it's if you're sacrificing to get regular season tickets, then you should use them for the playoffs.
See, that's a very shallow view because when the moment comes up, for instance, if they're playing Milwaukee, maybe you don't get to that price. If they play the Mets, you're going to get wealthy people from New York to come down and overpay. The circumstances are different. Nobody's going to. Do you think people are going to come from Milwaukee to buy those tickets?
But it's not money that you should have been expecting or relying on.
People go from paycheck to paycheck, Bill. Some people do. Believe it or not, it's possible to own season tickets and still go paycheck to paycheck because you made the tickets a priority in your life, but you didn't make the insurance a priority.
If you're living paycheck to paycheck, you shouldn't have season tickets.
Well, why? Why not? If that brings you enjoyment and you want to have that as your one enjoyment piece, your one splurge, at the expense of something else that you go, you know what, down the road I got to catch up and I got to figure out how to pay for that. But I need the sports tickets because it takes me away from the harsh realities of life.
So then you should need the playoff tickets.
Oh, well, then you've got your fill of the season, And then you go, okay, for this one series, for this one special circumstance where New York people are going to overpay me, then I'll see the Dodgers.
I don't know.
Joe C. in Norwood. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Joe C.
Mikey Mortadella.
How are you, Joe?
How you doing? Long-time listener. I had to put my 97.5 Fanatic app back on my phone.
Attaboy.
I just had one point about just what you guys were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with recouping some of the money that you spend for concessions and parking all year?
Yeah.
I went to a couple games. It's borderline criminal what they charge for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, parking's outrageous, too, down there.
Yeah.
It's $25 to park.
Mm-hmm.
Little stateside beers are like $16.
I know.
I mean, some people have to work all week to take their family to one game.
Yeah, Bill's talking about the season ticket holder.
I know. So you get some of your money back, you know? What you paid all year.
But Joe, the people who work all week to take their kids to one game don't have season tickets. That's the point.
How are they getting these playoff tickets? They're getting them from somewhere.
The lottery?
Yeah, they're getting a lottery. They may have a partial package. They're going to be able to get them from somewhere. Relatives, whatever.
That's it.
Yeah. I look, if you really need the money, I understand. And I have people on YouTube saying, well, not everyone has money. To me, it's just, well, then you shouldn't be buying tickets just to sell them.
See, that's a shallow view.
How?
Because people buy tickets when they can't afford them. Sports brings out the zeal for you to have entertainment. And so if you can't afford it, you're still going to buy the tickets, especially baseball.
I know what you're saying. And it's just, I'm talking about the season ticket holders. The season ticket holders. Not the people who struggle to take their kids to a couple games a year.
Are the people who are buying packages. Do you know how many people buy packages? 20-game packages, 10-game packages, whatever. They get access to a ticket.
And then they sell it to make money. See, I just think...
They sell it against the Mets.
I understand that not everybody is well off. There are people who struggle, who live paycheck to paycheck.
I think it's very selfish of you to try to put your morality on people who can use the money more than they feel a loyalty to the home team.
I just don't think that you should be relying on that as your income. Like if you're scratching,
it's a bonus income that you could always put to great use.
But your point is these same people are struggling to buy regular season tickets.
I think you're adding words. I'm saying that the lure of being paid a triplicate for a ticket that you have because the New York people are crazy enough to pay it, and you can still actually see the World Series or you can see the Dodgers. To me, it's not a big sacrifice to take the money.
And you're going to take that money and do what with it?
Yeah. I don't know what to do with it. I got a mortgage. I got a car payment. I got insurance payment. It's going to be really befuddling. I can put gas in my car. I can go to the grocery store. Yeah, it's really befuddling. What am I going to do with the money?
And but for the Phillies making the playoffs, you wouldn't have been able to afford any of that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's
an opportunity.
You can't rely.
It's an opportunity that presents itself. If you have a side hustle. Right, it's not your main gig, but that side hustle brings you a couple dollars. It's like a side hustle.
And that's what I'm saying. Your local sports team making the playoffs shouldn't be a side hustle.
Why not?
Because now you're a ticket broker.
In a very limited capacity, it could be a side hustle. What are you going to do? You want to knit a quilt? Sell your ticket.
Whatever it takes, man. We both had some rough jobs growing up.
Larry and Ventnor, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Larry.
Hey, guys, I'm back on. I got cut off.
Oh, there you go. All right,
Bill,
Larry. We got you.
Bill, come on, Bill. Bill, listen to Mike, please. I have season tickets to the Eagles.
Listen to Mike, please.
Serious.
That should be the mantra for this show.
Yeah.
Listen to Mike,
for this
please.
For this segment, I have season tickets to the Eagles. For $4,200 for the year. It's a little bit of a financial burden. I could do it. But if I can make up some of that scroll, selling the Steelers game in December when it's freezing for $1,800 or $2,000, Why wouldn't I?
Yeah, but Bill is saying this is a heightened situation. This is Red October. This is the playoffs. This is more than a regular season Eagles game.
All right, well, then let me give you the playoff analogy. When they went to the playoff facts, in 2017, I sold the first round to the Giants game, right? And that paid for my NFC Championship tickets, which I did go to.
No, I see. I hear you. I'm just saying that I can't sit here because I'm reading, social media people say it's a violation if you sell your ticket to a Mets fan. And I go, oh, you live in that household? Who am I to say to express what they should do with their own lives? I try to stay out of people's own lives. You know what? I salute. You want to do something? It's your choice. I'm not going to sit here and preach to you on what your responsibilities are because the Phillies are playing the Mets. Go to Jonah.
I don't get it, man.
Pipersville. Jonah, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Jonah.
Hey, fellas. How you doing today?
What's up, Jonah?
Only thing I'm wondering is, we're all angry about Sirianni, and I think personally he's a clown, but why is nobody talking about how it feels like they just kept him around to buy an extra season of having to focus on Hurts? I mean, regardless of what happens, he's a running quarterback. He's going to have cold spurts. He's going to have hot spurts. But with Sirianni there, at the end of the day, you're going to blame Sirianni, and Hurts is going to be there for another season. I think it's a management problem.
I don't get what your point is.
My point is I think it's a management problem. Hurts is going to be good or going to be bad. But until Sirianni's gone, you can't focus on any of it. And I think they knew it when they kept him around.
Why not? He had an MVP season under Sirianni. Why wouldn't they think?
I'm not saying blame him or think that Hurts is going out the door. But even if they were thinking he would, you would have to keep Sirianni so that it doesn't land on Hurts. Because you're never going to be able to know until Sirianni's gone, and then you have another coach over him.
I don't necessarily agree with you. I think that they thought that he would prosper under Sirianni because he did it before. So they brought him back, and he put all the rationale was he took us to a Super Bowl. We're going to look like idiots if we fire him, and he did okay with Jalen Hurts before. So, okay, let's bring him back. Now, I wouldn't have done that, okay? But they did, and now it's up to Sirianni to salvage it. He could salvage it. He could totally salvage it.
Who, Jalen or the season?
Sirianni can salvage his tenure here.
Yeah, I'm saying, but can he salvage Jalen Hurts?
Yeah, why not? Why can't he salvage him?
But you're saying it's up to Sirianni. I think Kellen Moore and Doug Nussmeier play a part in this.
It's all of them. But it's not. I can't say that Hurts is not going to. I mean, there's always a way to fix things.
I hope so.
I think what's going to fix things is winning games in a row.
And I think that Jalen Hurts is salvageable. I don't think he's a terrible quarterback, and there's people who do.
I agree.
But he's been a problem now for over a year.
Let's go to Rick in Philly.
They're rich.
Go ahead, Rick.
They're poor.
Rick,
whatever.
Rick,
Yes,
you're
hello.
on. You're on, buddy. Go ahead.
Got to tell you, with telling people what to do with their money is a huge bugaboo of mine. Nobody has a right. I don't care if they're very rich, very poor. Telling people what to do with their money.
Wait a minute. You're a financial advisor.
You bet. And I would, it's like somebody lends you money and you say, well, I don't have to pay him back because he's really rich. No, you lend him money, you have an obligation. They bought those tickets. They get to do whatever they want with them.
This is an unusual view from a financial advisor who tells people what to do with their money all the time.
You're correct. No, I help people with their money. I never tell them how to spend their own money, ever.
Well, don't you advise a particular stock or a bond fund? Or
yeah, and if they had an opportunity to sell a $100 ticket for $2,000, oh, man, I'm a genius.
Okay. All right.
I'm a genius.
Yeah. But Rick, I get what you're saying. I don't think that anybody should tell anybody what to do with their money. That's not the point. But I'm not talking about the money. I'm talking about the tickets.
So you're telling them what to do with the property.
What I'm saying is that
because they have enough money, so they shouldn't have to sell it. That's what you're telling me.
I'm just surprised that they would want to, is my point. If you are a season ticket holder, Rick, if you are a season ticket holder, You are a season ticket holder because you thoroughly enjoy that local team. You're a big Phillies fan. You're a big Eagles fan. You're a big Sixers or Flyers fan. And then when the game comes that matters the most of any game, you decide that you want the money over the experience. It surprises me that someone who would have season tickets wouldn't want the experience. That's the greatest game you could go to, which is a playoff game.
Oh, the first round is not the greatest game. And like Mike said, we've been to other playoff games.
Yeah, and this is a special event because this is where you know you're going to get the price. How about my fan? You know what he advises his clients to buy? Logistics.
You're going to push logistics.
Logistics.
What did I say? Logistics.
That's from The Sopranos.
Ray has no idea.
Yeah, it's Sopranos.
The irony of within 30 seconds, it's a major bugaboo of mine to tell people what to do with their money.
He's a
by
financial
the way, I'm a
advisor.
financial advisor.
Yeah. Buy this piece of crap stuff.
But listen, and I see people on YouTube saying that I sound entitled and privileged. That's not
definitely are.
But that's not.
Bishop
I wish.
Eustace prep.
I wish.
Yeah,
that's not the point of what I'm saying here. It's if you cared enough about the team to sacrifice and do all these things, why would you not want that experience?
All right, so here this leads to closing arguments.
Now, closing arguments on the Mike Missanelli Show. Brought to you by Lowenthal and Abrams Injury Attorneys. Injured in an accident, call 800-876-LAWYER or visit LowenthalAbrams.com.
Bill, you have the audacity to tell people what to do with their money.
Here we go.
It's unbelievable to me how you could sit there with your privileged self and tell people that they can't make $5,000 on a pair of tickets because some idiot Met fan who's got some money is going to come down here and he's willing to pay it. And I can use that $5,000 and I can pay how many car payments, how many house payments, how many pairs of braces for my kids. I'm using that money, and then guess what? After the series is over, I still got my tickets to see the Dodgers. That's my closing argument today, Bill.
I got nothing. I got nothing. I'm just surprised that fans would choose the dollar over the experience. That's what surprises me, because if you are a fanatic enough that you're sacrificing for regular season tickets, why would you not want that experience? And if you're telling me, well, they need it to pay their bills, you shouldn't be relying on that money anyway. It's not something that you should have been expecting. So, yeah, could they use the money? Of course they could use the money. But life's about experiences, Mike, because when you're on your deathbed one day, you're not going to be saying, thank God I sold those playoff tickets and made an extra $500. But what you may be saying is, thank God I experienced that game with my kid. Thank God I experienced that game with my best friend. It's about experiences. It's not about cash.
It's been wonderful doing the show today with Warren Buffett. We hope everybody had fun tuning in today to the program. All right, so what are we watching tonight? A football game?
We got two things going on tonight. We're going to watch the Mets and the Brewers.
Yeah, and then the football game.
We're going to watch the Bucks and the Falcons tonight. Two teams that beat the Eagles.
Bucks and the Falcons and the Mets and the Brewers.
Now, I didn't bring it up, and we're almost out of here, but Ray's going to be watching something else tonight.
What do you got, Ray? What are you watching?
He doesn't want to talk about it.
I'm just watching the games tonight. I don't know what you're talking about, Bill.
Wait.
I promised him I wouldn't bring it up.
Is he going to bring it up tomorrow?
He's got a date tonight.
Oh, you got a date tonight?
Thank you. Appreciate it. We're actually right up on the out time here, so if we can get to this one tomorrow. Thanks, everyone. Great show. Mike Missanelli Show.
We'll hear
10 to
about
2.
that tomorrow. Tune in. Everybody have a great night. We'll talk to you tomorrow.